Chicago Public Schools have decided to remain open for the moment. That, of course, may also be prompted by the need for extended daycare for many families. We'll keep our eyes on that this morning. The Chicago Public Schools frequently the last to close in the area. Chicago sports found the Blackhawks trading Nick Schmaltz to the Arizona Coyotes late last night for Dylan Strome and Brendan Perlini, both former number one draft picks, both forwards, a swap, again, involving 3 former first-round picks. Spurs will continue their 4-game road trip when they visit the Bulls, looking to put a disappointing loss to the Milwaukee Bucks behind them Saturday night. Kirk Cousins threw for 342 yards and 3 touchdowns as the Bears, who lead the division, watch the Vikings edge the Packers 24-17 on Sunday Night Football. The News is a service of 23andMe. Starting to shop for loved ones this holiday, give your friends and family a DNA kit from 23andMe. Save $30 or more on each kit today at 23andme.com/gift. Offer ends November 26. AM 560 news time is 5:07. We'll have a check of traffic and weather coming up next on AM 560.
One thing became painfully apparent this past election cycle. There are forces out there trying to destroy the America we know. And guess what? Those forces are still there. The election didn't change that. All this election did was restart the clock. In 2 years, we'll have to stand up and do it all again. Are we going to let the forces of darkness take back this country? Or are we going to stand up and fight for what's right? Stick with this station to get your marching orders. AM 560, The Answer.
I used to post to job boards.
Only to sort through tons of resumes.
Just to find a few candidates for
my sales team.
My hair salons.
That old process was not smart.
Then I went to ZipRecruiter.
Its technology scans resumes for me to find the right people.
And actively invites them to apply.
So I get qualified candidates fast. Smart.
See why ZipRecruiter is rated #1 by employers in the U.S. Try it now for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Based on Trustpilot rating of hiring sites with over 1,000 reviews.
Noted author, former chief medical correspondent, and Salonpas user Dr. Bob Arnott.
The human body has billions of pain receptors. Block those receptors with the anesthetics found in Salonpas Lidocaine Plus, and you'll have relief. Salonpas Lidocaine Plus contains 2 anesthetics, including the maximum strength lidocaine available without a prescription. They numb aggravated nerves for effective, lasting relief. For relief, try what I use, Salonpas Lidocaine Plus.
In the silver box with the blue wave.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
What do you hear? Most people just hear an engine. We hear a 6.2-liter Hemi V8 with a supercharger that accelerates so fast, it'll suck the air out of your lungs and knock you back in your seat like you're an astronaut in a rocket ship hurtling through the stratosphere. But then again, we're not most people. We're the Brotherhood of Muscle. Dodge. Domestic, not domesticated. Dodge is a registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
Pros on the know start with Lowe's, because Lowe's makes it easy to get a great price on a huge selection of the tools pros turn to every day. Right now, you can get your choice of a DeWalt 20-volt max cordless impact driver or a DeWalt 20-volt max cordless drill, only $99 each. That's right, only $99 each. Plus, each item comes with our price match guarantee. So, Pro, now that you know, start with Lowe's. Offers valid while supplies last. See Lowe's.com/price match for terms and conditions.
If you're self-employed and purchase your own health insurance, I have some good news. From now until December 15th, you cannot be denied coverage based on a pre-existing condition, and depending on your income, you may find a more affordable plan. And this year, thanks to President Trump, if you're healthy and your income is too high to qualify for a subsidy, there is a new and competitive non-Obamacare marketplace where premiums are much lower and the PPO networks include access to our teaching hospitals in Chicago. Employers who provide small group coverage also have new options, and so do seniors looking for Medicare supplement coverage. Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. Your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for 7 years. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551.
Now through December, Napa is having its biggest holiday sale ever with hundreds of items at their best prices of the year, like a Bluetooth speaker with an LED light system for $29.99. Only available at Napa. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how, while supplies last.
5:11 on AM 560. The Answer coming up on 5:12 this morning. Hello, everyone. I'm Mike Scott, and on this blizzard-like Monday morning, we want to tell you that many schools in the area are closed. As of 4:50 this morning, about 7 pages of schools are closed. Everything from the Addison School District 4, Addison Trail High School, Allen Shepherd High School in Palos Heights, just running through a wide variety of them. The American Bar Association, by the way, lawyers, you need to go to work. You're opening late by 2 hours. American Academy of Sleep Medicine tells us they're opening late as well, too. But schools, Argo Community High School in Summit is closed. Aurora Central Catholic High is closed today. Aurora University is closed. And we can't get to them all. Benedictine University in Lisle is opening late. Bennett Academy in Lisle is closed this morning. Bloomingdale Park District is closed. Employees are to report. While at Bolingbrook High School, the school is closed. The Bremen High School is closed in Midlothian. Briar Glen School in Wheaton is closed today. Bridgeview Challenger Day School in Niles is closed today. Buffalo Grove High School is closed today. Calvary Christian in Naperville is closed. Cardinal Joseph Bernardine School in Tinley Park is closed. Carl Sandburg High School is closed. Many, many, many other schools are closed. As you can see, Chicago Christian in Palos Heights, we're only in the C's, and it continues on. College of DuPage in Glen Ellen is opening after noon today. And again, many of these have been in all night long already. And so many school districts are closed. The number of districts is almost too many to count. However, as far as we know, the Chicago Public Schools are open this morning. 5:13 on AM 560, The Answer. Let's get an update on those roads. And this morning, in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here's Al Green.
On the inbound Edens, a 32-minute trip from Lake Hook to the Kennedy Junction, back out to Lake Hook 33. At Cicero, outbound, an accident's blocking the right lane. On the Kennedy into downtown, it's a half an hour trip, a little bit of snow on the roadway. Outbound trip, 26 minutes. And outbound on the O'Hare Extension at Mannheim, the ramp is blocked. They're trying to remove a car from the ditch there. On the Eisenhower, inbound 42 minutes from 390 to the Burns Circle, 38 back out to 390. And Stevenson inbound a 42-minute trip. Inbound at Harlem, there is an accident with a car in the ditch. And outbound on 55 at LaGrange, an accident blocking the left lane. That's traffic. I'm Al Verdi. From the Balance of Nature Traffic Center on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answers starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, gusty winds, continued blizzard-like conditions. We've had a low of 28 overnight. Wind gusts still from the north at 25 to 35 miles an hour. Later today, cloudy skies, windy through the morning, high of 31. Later on tonight, mostly cloudy skies early, then partly cloudy after midnight. It will be chilly, dipping down to a low of around 15. Currently 31 at O'Hare and 33 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 5:30. Continuous news coverage at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
But first, let's check the death count from the killer storm bearing down on us like a shotgun full of snow.
Well, Kent, as of now, the death count is 0, but it is ready to shoot right up.
Oh, my God. Damn you, snow!
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Knew I should have taken the sled dogs instead of my sedan this morning.
I saw you out there, too, on the road, and I was driving the monster truck with the four-wheel drive. But even that, I had a hard time getting down the street. Seriously, where are the plows? Why are we paying taxes? I didn't see any in Chicago. I got off Irving Park Road is a mess. Take Addison if you want some road tips from AM 560's The Answer. And then the Kennedy was a mess. And then the Jane Addams, there's still, you don't even know what lane you're in because there is no lane. It's just snow.
Yeah, the Kennedy was bad. Even north of O'Hare, where you think after the toll plaza that should be better and easier to plow, but it's not the case. So if you're getting ready for your morning commute, you may want to think about a sick day.
I mean, seriously, and this is a time when bosses, if your employees can work at home, you should have them work at home. I saw 3 spin-outs. I saw one right by you. There was an old
like F-150.
Yeah,
spun
out, but it didn't touch your car. I'm like, whoa, buddy, stay away from the sedan.
I have proper spacing. I contemplate what everybody else around me is doing.
Oh.
So I know that all of these inferior drivers around me, I know what you're going to do. You're going to do this stupid thing, and so I've already game planned for it. So it's not a problem.
But I have to just say, it's the only time in my life where I've ever passed you on the road. I'm just saying, I did have to pass you because you were going a little slow. But you were in the right lane.
Actually, I was all the way over in the right lane.
Which was smart. I know. Yeah, that was smart.
That was
I had to go over because that car, the F-150, which I'm sure it had to be like one from the 90s, spun out.
Yeah, I figured I was cheating death as it was with all of these nitwits on the road and the conditions, so I just took my sweet time.
Honestly, and why do we pay taxes? I think the Jane Addams is always the worst, but when it's that bad when you're driving and you're actually plowing the snow, when the snowplow could be plowing it, would be a little bit better.
Well, we've got a big show today coming out of Thanksgiving weekend. We've got a ton of junk science to go through, and couldn't be better weather to talk junk science. We've also, it was an eventful weekend, starting with the Bears' victory, but then Coach Ditka had a little health scare, and he seems to be okay, and that's the good news there, properly in Naples, away from Illinois, where smart people go at least this time of year, if not permanently.
Yeah, because you don't want to shovel this stuff if you have a heart condition.
That's right, and of course we know that Christmas is here, not just because of the weather, but because of the beatings on the streets of Chicago. You saw that story about the John Cass wrote about it as well. The 2 men accused of beating and robbing a U.S. soldier on one of the red lines at one of the red line stations.
Real nice. My happy holidays. Yeah, thanks for your service.
Yeah, you can't light FM Christmas music yourself over that.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Welcome to Billy's Burgers.
Double cheese with fries, please.
Slide your card. Thank you. Your order number is 7,345. Next.
Number 2, order is ready.
2? Oh, come on.
Waiting is no fun. But you don't have to wait to see your energy bill. Visit ComEd.com/myaccount, sign in, and get all the answers you need about your bill. Fast. That's ComEd.com/myaccount. ComEd, powering lives.
Noted author, former chief medical correspondent, and Salonpas user Dr. Bob Arnott.
The human body has billions of pain receptors. Block those receptors with the anesthetics found in Salonpas Lidocaine Plus, and you'll have relief. Salonpas Lidocaine Plus contains 2 anesthetics, including the maximum strength lidocaine available without a prescription. They numb aggravated nerves for effective, lasting relief. For relief, try what I use, Salonpas Lidocaine Plus.
In the silver box with the blue wave.
If you're like most people and you see 2 gas stations and one sells gas for a little bit less, you go to that one. It just makes sense. Every little bit helps. But here's what's weird, though. Sometimes we save a few pennies here and there and ignore opportunities to save huge money, life-changing money. If you switch to MediShare for your health care, it could be massive savings for you. The typical savings for a family is $500 a month. Think what you could do with that over time. Just doing the math, that's $6,000 a year. That is significant. And yes, people love it, and they love it because it works. It's believers who share each other's healthcare costs. More than 400,000 people are now members of MediShare, and it's growing like crazy. Find out how much you could save and why MediShare is so popular. Go to MediShare.com or call 855-BIBLE-11. That's 855-BIBLE-11. MediShare.com or 855-BIBLE-11.
You know I love MyPillow and how it's changed how I sleep. Hi, this is Amy Jacobson, and when I heard about the new MyPillow mattress topper, I couldn't wait to try it. Now, I don't know if I love MyPillow or the MyPillow mattress topper more. It's that good. And now you can get a great deal on a MyPillow mattress topper and start getting the best sleep of your life. The exclusive 3-layer design includes MyPillow foam for support, traditional foam to help relieve pressure points, and an ultra-soft patent temperature-regulating cover. It has a 10-year warranty and a cover that's washable and dryable. It's made in the USA, and it's backed by Mike Lindell's 60-day money-back guarantee. You'll get the total body support you need to sleep better. So here's the deal. Right now, you'll save 30% when you use promo code Amy. Plus, you'll receive 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free. So visit MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201, promo code Amy.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, hope everybody had a lovely Thanksgiving. And
Yeah, where'd you go for Thanksgiving?
Didn't go anywhere.
Did you make reservations?
Did a brunch, yeah.
All right. Well, you saw your family, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good. I was in Kirkwood, Missouri, and I just want to say I did a 5K turkey trot, and this woman came up to me and she said, are you Amy Jacobson? And this was in Kirkwood. This is 5.5 hours
Did
away.
she recognize you from your turkey impersonation?
She recognized me. Well, I couldn't believe that she recognized me, and my sisters were so impressed. Like, oh, Amy must be kind of a big deal in Chicago.
It was a family member.
No, her name's Angie. She's from Kirkwood, born and raised, went to Kirkwood High School, lives now in Chicago, listens to us every day. And then she looks around while she's running. She said, where's Dan? I said, oh, he's back at mile marker number 2. No, but you know, I should
Moral support.
Yeah, you know, I should recognize me. On the back of my shirt, I had Jacobson on it. Okay. All right. So
Always be closing.
But that was nice that Angie was, we really loved the show and was wondering where you were and thought that we traveled in a pack. And
yeah.
Like, no, we're taking a break this 4-day weekend. I don't spend enough time with him, but I just thought maybe this Thanksgiving I'd release him back to his family.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
so
that's
thanks,
good.
Angie, for listening.
All right.
For making me
that.
look cool in front of my nieces and nephews.
Big shot. All right. Also, getting into the spirit of things, positive story. Nice little story involving police officers, no less. Stafford, Texas, local PD pulling people over on Thanksgiving. A little bit different than what I saw. I think it was Dane Placco who tweeted out Fox Chicago picture of the parking ninjas here.
Oh, yeah. I can't
writing
stand that.
tickets on Thanksgiving Day for people who are volunteering at some food depository.
Oh, my God.
It's a great picture. So that's Chicago.
It's a money grab, man.
That's Chicago on Thanksgiving. This is Stafford, Texas on Thanksgiving.
Well, the reason you're being stopped is that you stopped at the stop sign over there. You did. So because you stopped at the stop sign, we'd like to give you a turkey for Thanksgiving. Yeah. Yes. I'm nervous. It's okay. How you doing, ma'am? There you go. My name is Sergeant Ward. This is one of my traffic officers, and that's our boss right over there. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. We're just out trying to make people's Thanksgiving better. Oh my God. And we're also rewarding people for doing a good job with their driving, and my officer said you did everything correct. So we're going to reward you with a full spread. There you go. Everything's on the inside. Turkey, yes, ma'am. Pie, the
There you go. So pulling people over who were driving properly and giving them a turkey and a pie, the full spread for Thanksgiving, which was nice, but it still would not get me to do a 1, 2, 3 STOP. I'm a roll through the stop sign guy.
I know. Why you got to just stop?
No.
Oh,
I mean, I can see other
I got,
objects.
Officer, I got this covered. I got my spidey senses out. Please.
I can see what's at an intersection and what isn't. So I'll just, thanks, appreciate that, but I'll just skip the turkey and pie. But anyway, perfect segue because we're launching our annual Food for the Poor holiday campaign today. So thinking about the giving spirit as exemplified by those officers in Stafford, Texas.
And our goal is to provide food for a year and water for life for 3,000 children in Haiti. And we talk about poverty and hunger in the U.S., but it's a very different reality than in other countries. Here in the U.S., there's always a social safety net to care for hungry children and families. And we see our tax dollars serving that purpose all the time. However, in a country like Haiti, where they have the most corrupt government you could ever imagine.
You went to Haiti.
I went to Haiti. I saw it firsthand. There is no safety net. And without food for the poor, hundreds, thousands of people would die. That is their only way. That's their only source of clean water. That's their only source of food.
Did you get recognized when you did the Port-au-Prince turkey trot? Is anybody?
No.
No listeners?
No.
Curious.
No. But it's they have a huge facility in Port-au-Prince there, and people line up by the hundreds every day to get a bucket of food and to get clean drinking water. So we're asking for a one-time donation of $80. That will provide food for a year and water for life for one child or one adult in Haiti. We want you to call this number, 844-862-HOPE. That's 844-862-4673. You can also visit 560theanswer.com, search for the keyword food, or go directly to 560theanswer.com/food. Again, just a little amount of money will go a long way, especially in places like Haiti.
So that's $80 for the individual. And then we have our business benefactor program again this year, just like we've done in the last several years. That's a $2,500 tax deductible donation to Food for the Poor. And in return for that, as our thanks to you for your generosity, your business, 40 gets a 40, 60-second commercials that run primetime hours, Monday to Friday, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. on these airwaves. So if you want to participate in the Business Benefactor Program and help us get to those 3,000 children who will receive food for a year, water for life that much quicker, and also get a little bonus for your business in terms of marketing, call our sales manager, Anjanette Netkowski. Her number, 847-472-8951. That's Anjanette at 847-472-8951. 8951.
Are you okay over
8950. What? I got to hang that fourth number. 847-472-8951. That's Anjanette for the Business Benefactor Program.
Yes, and we thank you in advance for your generosity. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, chaos along the border. Should President Trump shut down the entire U.S.-Mexico border?
And President Trump's war of words with one Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts at 5:38.
But let's first go into the newsroom. Busy day. Here is Mike Scott.
Heavy snow, blizzard-like conditions this morning at 5:30 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott. The blizzard warning remains in effect from northeast Missouri into southeast Wisconsin and through northeast Illinois and into northwest Indiana this morning, including the greater Chicago area. The National Weather Service says heavy snow will continue through the early hours of this morning with up to a foot. And if you're measuring in metric, that's 30 centimeters of snow expected in some areas, wind gusts of up to 50 miles an hour. Millions across the Midwest have been shuddering under the powerful winds that have been coming with that storm.
19 million people at risk today from our winter storm. We have blizzard warnings around Peoria. We have a winter weather advisory snowing pretty good now in central Michigan, and northern New England has winter storm warning.
Storm is bringing heavy snow and blizzard-like conditions to a half dozen states, snow packing the roads, delaying and canceling flights. Chicago Department of Aviation tells us this morning average departure delays at O'Hare are 77 minutes. Flight tracking website FlightAware tells us over 350 flights headed to or from were canceled as of early this morning. In other news, we're following as many as 500 migrants who stormed the U.S. border fence will be deported from Mexico. NBC News reporter Hans Nichols explains a rush of migrants toward that border forced its shutdown.
They then went around. There were a few clashes, there were a few skirmishes. They then went around and crossed a river full of human waste, sludge of a river, and they crossed that trying to get closer to the point of entry.
The Mexican Interior Ministry saying the group was rounded up after trying to cross the border yesterday. U.S. border officials used tear gas to drive the group away from the fence. President Trump heads to Mississippi for 2 campaign appearances later today. The president stumping for Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith in her U.S. Senate runoff against Democrat Mike Espy. Senator Sherrod Brown says he is leaning toward tossing his name into the hat for a 2020 presidential run. The Ohio Democrat on ABC's This Week.
My dream was to play center field for the Cleveland Indians. That door obviously is closed. But since the election, Connie and I have been really overwhelmed by the number of people that have said we should think about doing this.
He says he's received an overwhelming amount of support from those inside and outside of Ohio. A 6-year-old case of a suburban Chicago man trying to detonate what he thought was a bomb in Chicago may be nearing a resolution today. Chicago federal judge will hear arguments on a defense motion to let 25-year-old Adel Daoud enter an Alford plea in which he does not admit guilt but concedes evidence will lead to his conviction. If a judge grants that defense request, there will be no trial. Prosecutors, however, want that trial. They cite defense statements that they intend to put the FBI on trial for entrapping Daoud, arguing and accepting the plea lets those claims stand. The trial of 3 current and former Chicago police officers accused in the deadly police shooting and cover-up of Laquan McDonald is set to begin tomorrow. Officer Thomas Gaffney, retired Officer Joe Walsh, and retired Detective David March face charges of obstruction of justice and criminal conspiracy. The Blackhawks have traded Nick Schmaltz to the Arizona Coyotes for Dylan Strom and Brendan Perlini in a swap involving 3 former first-round draft picks. The Bulls are in action tonight, taking on San Antonio. Our time is 5:34. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher wants to know what we do with the migrant caravan now.
Portions of this caravan consisting of 900 Central Americans in 22 buses arrived in the northern border state of Sonora, escorted by state and federal police yesterday. We got 7,000 to 10,000 people arriving by bus, by car, by foot. I don't know. They're coming. And what's cable news going to say now?
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Check out Ground Game, the latest podcast from the Associated Press discussing the top political issues around the country. Available on Apple Podcasts. Action Sertoma needs your help. Action Sertoma is a local service organization that helps develop mentally disabled individuals and needs people and organizations to volunteer your time or assist with fundraising efforts. Action Sertoma is a not-for-profit club formed in 1967 to raise funds in support of the less fortunate in our community and to provide opportunities that empower individuals with disabilities to achieve personal success. Most of the money that's raised goes directly to the 2 Sertoma centers in Alsip, Illinois, and serves over 1,500 individuals every day. Action Sertoma also supports the Sertoma Speech and Hearing Center and other worthy organizations. Consider helping Action Sertoma by supporting their events and volunteering. You'll be making a positive difference in the lives of others that need assistance and have the satisfaction of giving back and providing those with disabilities a better life. Visit Action Sertoma online at actionsertoma.org and visit their Facebook page. That's actionsertoma.org, providing service to mankind for over 50 years.
I used to post to job boards.
Only to sort through tons of resumes.
Just to find a few candidates for
my sales team.
My hair salons.
That old process was not smart.
Then I went to ZipRecruiter.
Its technology scans resumes for me to find the right people.
And actively invites them to apply.
So I get qualified candidates fast. Smart.
See why ZipRecruiter is rated #1 by employers in the U.S. Try it now for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Based on Trustpilot rating of hiring sites with over 1,000 reviews.
Noted author, former chief medical correspondent, and Salon Pas user Dr. Bob Arnott.
The human body has billions of pain receptors. Block those receptors with the anesthetics found in Salon Pas Lidocaine Plus, and you'll have relief. Salon Pas Lidocaine Plus contains 2 anesthetics, including the maximum strength lidocaine available without a prescription. They numb aggravated nerves for effective, lasting relief. For relief, try what I use, Salon Pas Lidocaine Plus.
In the silver box with the blue wave.
5:37. Let's check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Very latest in for Jim. Here's Alverde.
Inbound Eden's a 28-minute trip from Lake Cook to the Kennedy Junction, 33 back out to Lake Cook. Outbound at Cicero, an accident has the right lane blocked. Inbound Kennedy, that's a half an hour from O'Hare to downtown. Inbound at Lawrence now, there's a report of a car in the ditch. The outbound trip to O'Hare, 26 minutes. And on the O'Hare extension outbound, the ramp from westbound 190 to southbound Manheim, that's blocked to remove a car from the ditch. On the Eisenhower, inbound 43 to the Circle, 39 back out to 390. Stevenson 46 into Lakeshore Drive, inbound at Harlem on 55, an accident with a car in the ditch. That's traffic. I'm Al Verdi. From the Balance of Nature Traffic Center on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Gusty winds, blizzard-like conditions out this morning. Many roads are snow-covered and slippery. A low of 28 overnight, a high 31 later on in the day. And Monday night, mostly cloudy skies early, then partly cloudy after midnight, and a chilly low of 15. As we've said before, many schools are closed today. As far as we know, right now, Chicago public schools are open. 29 officially at O'Hare. Next news update at 6. Breaking news as it happens. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Turnkey IT, giving you the freedom to focus on your business while they handle the technical stuff. Turnkey IT.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy, and all sorts of action at the border with respect to this caravan that CNN says doesn't exist. An invasion, Jim Acosta says, is not happening. And war of words between President Trump and Chief Justice John Roberts. Unusual, but not unprecedented. Justice Roberts responding to President Trump's criticism of the Ninth Circuit and the decisions that have been handed down by the Ninth Circuit on the president's immigration powers.
It's kind of like watching your parents fight. You don't want to see this. Those two are going back and forth.
Trump complaining about Obama judges and the like. The politicization of the courts is essentially his point. Justice Roberts saying we do not have Obama judges or Trump judges, Bush judges or Clinton judges. What we have is an extraordinary group of dedicated judges doing their level best to do equal right to those appearing before them. The independent judiciary is something we should all be thankful for. A bit of a straw dog argument. Nobody is suggesting that the judiciary shouldn't be independent. In point of fact, President Trump is implying that some members of the appellate court in the Ninth Circuit and elsewhere are not independent, and so this should be a concern to Justice Roberts. Trump at Mar-a-Lago on Thanksgiving, addressing it as such.
But we don't have the right laws, and we have people interpreting the laws, and they always give us a bad interpretation. So hopefully we've shown some light on the Ninth Circuit. I know that Chief Justice Roberts, John Roberts, has been speaking a little bit about it, and I think and I have a lot of respect for him. I like him and I respect him, but I think we have to use some common sense. This Ninth Circuit, everybody knows it. It's totally out of control. And what they're doing, what they're saying, the opinions are very unfair to law enforcement. They're very unfair to our military. And they're very unfair, most importantly, to the people of our country, because I'm keeping them safe.
So does the Obamacare justice have a point that there are no Obama judges? 312-642-5600, Turnkey.Pro answer line. 64636-DA, Turnkey.Pro text line.
I mean, do you think that independent judges have gone rogue? You know, that there's social justice activism from the bench? Because I know a federal judge, and he is extremely biased, extremely far left. And I don't think is judicious in his rulings because of that. It does cloud over how you feel and your actions, especially on the bench.
Legislating from the bench, as the phraseology goes. Trump responding to Roberts' response to his critique of the Ninth Circuit, saying, sorry.
How did it end, Dan?
Sorry, Chief Justice John Roberts. You do indeed have Obama judges, and they have a much different point of view than the people who are charged with the safety of our country. It would be great if the Ninth Circuit was indeed a quote-unquote independent judiciary, but if it is, why are so many opposing views on border and safety cases, opposing cases, filed there, and why are a vast number of those cases overturned? Please study the numbers. They're shocking. We need protection and security. These rulings are making our country unsafe, very dangerous, and unwise, exclamation point. And here's the other problem, and Jonathan Turley points this out in The Hill with respect to Roberts' comments and his decision to enter the fray here in defense of the Ninth Circuit. It would, and Jonathan Turley, critical of President Trump's pronouncements on judges in the past and at present. So he doesn't like Trump going after judges and questioning their motives or their heritage, as President Trump has done before. I don't like some of the things Trump has said either. However, Turley makes an important point. It would be much more credible, Roberts' statement. He would have much more standing had he been policing his own Supreme Court when it came to political pronouncements, say, like when Ruth Bader Ginsburg made political statements about President Trump. And so you're entering the fray here, but you didn't enter the fray when it came to your colleagues on the highest court in the land.
So you think Trump is in the right here? For doing it.
I think Trump is correct on the merits. I mean, the idea that you don't have judges that have completely different worldviews, that see the judiciary as a legislative body and behave accordingly, see the Constitution as something to work around to advance their ideology, that is demonstrably true. Now, with respect to particular immigration decisions, we can debate those in terms of giving the president, or in terms of the issue, the most recent issue at bar with the Ninth Circuit, enjoined the president from sort of deciding asylum cases, waiving off asylum application rights or privileges en masse. I understand. But certainly the president has sweeping authority when it comes to border security. And by the way, President Trump is exercising it by, scrambling armed the armed services down to the border, as well as threatening to shut down the southern border altogether if we don't get some kind of cooperation or more cooperation from the Mexican government and the disbursement of these the members of the caravan.
It's not if the government, I mean the military, Mexican military isn't trying. They tried yesterday, but 500 people stormed them. There was a stampede of them trying to get into our country, and we fought back with tear gas. And, Department of Homeland Security, Kristen Nielsen, she said that, yes, we fought back. That tear gas was ours when they're in what's called the no man's land between Mexico and the U.S., and they rounded up the 500 people, and they are in the process of deporting them. The Mexican government is.
So this is the San Ysidro entry point, and you had them throwing rocks. You had a woman who actually impaled herself on a fence post, and then is getting the health care she needs from us, and that's fine. But, so there's no violence per se, except from the caravan throwing rocks and otherwise trying to, as you said, break into the country. Mexican government saying they've dispersed a percentage of the caravan. They've returned thousands of people to their native countries.
But it's so bad that
well, there's no agreement. There was a report over the weekend. There was an agreement between the Mexican government and the Trump administration on asylum, and there is no agreement. And so this continues to be a problem, and thus Trump's saber-rattling about closing down the southern border altogether.
But it's such a problem that the mayor of Tijuana is asking help from the UN. I mean, it's a humanitarian crisis, he claims.
Well,
because people have taken up the streets. They're setting up camp in people's front yards. They're setting up camps in any open space that they see and taking all their resources, and the people in Tijuana are not happy with it.
Tom Homan, who was the former acting director of ICE, now Fox News contributor, he was on over the weekend discussing this. I thought he made a couple of important points about shutting down the border and who's to blame for the situation we find ourselves in.
This isn't the first time the border's been shut down. I remember back in 1985, I was a Border Patrol agent when President shut down the border when a DEA agent, Kiki Camarena, disappeared in Mexico. Mexico wasn't doing a lot to help, but of course when they shut that border down, right away they were able to find the body of the DEA agent, found the people that were responsible for torturing and killing them. So I think the President Trump is sending a message that, if this gets out of control, I'll shut the border down and maybe make Mexico, even though Mexico's done have assisted us by offering asylum to a few thousand of these people, maybe they'll patrol their southern border a little bit more, stop these caravans coming in.
And Homan argues, lest you're quick to blame Trump for this situation that has been thrust upon him.
The reason there's a caravan on the border, the reason the borders, the numbers are high right now is because Congress has failed to act. They failed to build a wall. They have failed to close the loopholes that are causing these caravans. They have failed to raise a bar for asylum. They have failed to give ICE enough beds so they don't have to catch and release. They have failed to change the Florida settlement agreement that we can actually hold families long enough to see a judge. These loopholes, I was up on Hill numerous times myself meeting with Congress about closing these loopholes. And I've said many times before, if anybody wants to put a blame on what's going on the border, it's Congress. They need to look in the mirror. They have failed the American people.
And the last point that Homan makes, which is really important, is the precedent-setting nature of our response to this caravan.
If we don't have a hard response and protect the sovereignty of this country right now, there's going to be more caravans. This is just the beginning. So we got to act decisively. We got the right president to do that. He's taken a hard line on this. He threw the gauntlet down. I praise him for that. And we all hands on deck. And the game's on, and everybody's watching. Our response is very important to what's going to happen in the future.
And don't forget, in 2013, President Obama shut down that same entry point after there was a drug war, going on. So it's not like this hasn't happened before. And even under a Democratic president, it's happened before.
Right. Take a couple calls. Lena in Lake Villa.
Good morning.
Morning.
I think whatever President Trump is trying to do, the left will find something wrong. Whatever other president did, they don't acknowledge. And now when Trump is doing it, it's so wrong. It's so inhumane. And the judges are biased. They're all leftist, and they're trying to restore the horrible, horrible times of Obama.
Thanks for the call, Lena. Appreciate it. Vince in Waukegan.
Hey, guys. Yeah, it's pretty disingenuous to think that judges are not corrupt. Like what? They're not human? That's ridiculous to think that judges aren't corrupt or that they're not biased. Otherwise you wouldn't have split decisions all the time in the Supreme Court. But beyond that, when you have a court like the Ninth Circuit Court whose decisions are constantly overturned, they need to set a threshold for the number of overturned cases. If 50% of your cases are overturned, you should be removed from the bench.
All right, thanks for the call, Vince. Well, and let's also remember that there was court action against the Obama administration for DACA, and that program was enjoined by a federal court in Texas, if you recall, and President Obama's response to that was just to ignore the ruling. So I mean, just in terms of a little historical context here, that doesn't, one person's bad acts or extra legal acts doesn't substantiate another person's. But I mean, just in terms of all the sort of pretend, the idea that this is all sui generis, that we've never seen anything like this before. We've never had a president taking this action. We've never had this kind of judicial involvement. I mean, how about some institutional memory, D.C. Press Corps? Bruno in Naperville.
Yeah, with this caravan, I see the fingerprints of the Mexican government all over it. They let these people cross their southern border. They really could have stopped them. They've aided and abetted them across a 1,500 or 2,000-mile northern march from the southern border to the U.S. border. I think Trump needs to shut the border down and stop commerce going across the border long enough for the Mexicans to feel the pain, and then force the Mexicans to basically eat the caravan. And if they do that, you can bet that they'll stop allowing that to happen in their country.
All right, thanks, Bruno.
Yo, Tommy H. Let's kick 'em. All right, stop. Collaborate and listen. Ice is back with some hardcore convictions. Sanctuary, we don't take that lightly. He'll be knocking doors daily and nightly. Where will they go? Yo, I don't know. Put up a fight and you'll go. To the extreme, he deports all the vandals. This whole thing is something Ice will handle.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Famous Winston Churchill quotes, presented by Automated Systems.
Winston Churchill said, "You don't make the poor richer by making the rich poorer." This is truly a foundation of conservative thought today.
It's important we support companies that share our conservative values. If you are a manufacturer, I encourage you to call my friend Laz Kulchar from Automated Systems. As a software and systems integration company, Automated Systems creates custom solutions to make your production lines, facilities, and plants run more efficiently. Imagine less downtime, more speed, and fewer rejects. It doesn't matter if you're a Fortune 500 or a startup, Automated Systems delivers solutions for your toughest automation challenges. For information, I encourage you, man, to talk to Laz at Automated Systems. Call 844-HIRE-ASI or visit automatedsys.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-ideas.com. Arizona's Republican Governor Doug Ducey earned 44% of the Latino vote en route to his easy re-election. No hand recount for Governor-elect Ron DeSantis in Florida, who garnered 44% of the Latino vote and 14% of the black vote. The 400,000 Florida kids and 260,000 Arizona kids who benefit from school choice, the majority from minority families, are reshaping the GOP's electoral coalitions in those states. White guilt author Shelby Steele argues this occurrence is more than a powerful argument for school choice, it's a messaging imperative for conservatives. As Steele told me, black families have moved beyond the idealism of the civil rights era to search for pragmatic answers to economic concerns the welfare state not only failed to address, but worsened. By contrast, Champaign socialists in the leafy suburbs are in search of a moral calling. The Black Lives Matter yard sign in the lawn of your local Mayflower descendant should have been a tip-off. Bottom line, we've been making the wrong arguments to the wrong constituents. Fiscal conservatism has limited appeal to the vanguard class, as does pantomiming Al Sharpton with minority families. For the latter, it's money they lack. For the former, to borrow from James Earl Jones and Field of Dreams, it's money they have and peace they lack.
This is Dr. Sebastian Gorka. President Obama's 8 years of leading from behind left the world in flames. From Russia's invasion of Ukraine to North Korea's missile tests and a growing ISIS caliphate. Under President Trump, American leadership is being restored. But that does not mean our enemies have disappeared. That's why I wrote my new book, Why We Fight: Defeating America's Enemies with No Apologies. As a former deputy assistant to President Trump for strategy, I explained the threats posed by enemies like Russia, China, and the global jihadi movement. We must know our enemies and have the will to defeat them. In my book, Why We Fight, we take off the political correctness blinders of the Obama years and learn how we can vanquish our enemies without mortal combat.
Sebastian Gorka's new book, Why We Fight, Defeating America's Enemies with No Apologies, is available now from Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
Hey guys, Ken here from the hit podcast Today's Growth, now heard regularly in 18 countries. What percentage of you listening to this commercial often say to yourself, what could I do to make more money, or how can we increase our business? I'm guessing that's most of you. Have you ever heard knock on the door and it'll open? Well, my friends at Income Store have doors you can open that can help you or your family make more money, or doors that lead to an increase in revenue for any business of any size. Income Store has 2 main doors on their website. These doors lead to over 2,000 revenue-generating ideas and products. Although a few of their products are pricey, 90+% of their growth formulas are delivered free or nearly free. Income Store's growth products and ideas have been publicized and featured on Forbes, Inc., USA Today, and recently the Biography Channel. Could your household or business use a revenue shot in the backside? Are you sick of your checkbook talking back and saying no? If so, you need to knock on the doors of IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Oh, too soon. The song? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it, yeah. Phil Collins, you're talking to an 80s music savant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, please.
Thank you.
When it comes to 80s music, I have no peer. Although Young Justin's parody song of Ice Ice Baby, not bad.
Yeah, I didn't see it coming because normally he tells us if he's working on a little ditty or something.
I like
So
a
good
holiday
job.
surprise.
Yeah.
Speaking of holiday surprises, how about surprising people who live in the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere with food and water this holiday season? Yeah, seriously. Our goal, again, the Food for the Poor 2018 campaign, our goal to provide food for a year, water for life for 3,000 children in Haiti who face life-threatening poverty and the absence of food and water.
And I know a lot of us, Black Friday, today's Cyber Monday, instead of buying just another dumb toy, I mean, face it, that's what this is, or a stupid present, do something meaningful. Make a donation on behalf of somebody, on behalf of a well-fed child or grandchild. We're asking for a one-time gift of $80 that will provide food for a year and water for life for one child or one adult in Haiti. To make that donation, just call 844-862-4673. That's 844-862-4673, or visit 560theanswer.com/food. And really, $80, that is a world of difference to people in Haiti, to people in villages that have nothing. They don't have social services to rely on if they're starving or have no water to drink. 1 in 4 kids will die before they turn 5 because they're malnourished. There's the only hope that they have of any vaccinations is at the Food for the Poor main facility in Port-au-Prince.
Again, 95 cents on every dollar goes directly to the beneficiaries, these 3,000 children who we're going to provide food for a year, water for life. With your help, we've always hit our mark, and I know with your generosity, we'll do so again. In addition to the individual donation that Amy just described, we have our business benefactor program again this year.
Oh, yeah.
Any business that makes a $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Food for the Poor receives from AM 560, from us, 40 60-second commercials that run primetime hours, Monday to Friday, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. during our broadcast day. Anybody who wants to participate in this program, the business benefactor program, get a little marketing dollars and airtime for your trouble. Call our sales manager, Ann Jeanette, at 847-472-8951. Again, Ann Jeanette, our sales manager, 847-472-8951 to enroll in the Business Benefactor Program.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Alan Dershowitz says the Mueller report, which appears to be forthcoming, will be devastating politically to President Trump. We'll get Andy McCarthy's take at 6:06.
And they did what? Just wait until you hear where Mika and Joe secretly tied the knots. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
A winter storm brings out cleanup crews. A trial in the Laquan McDonald cover-up case is set to begin this week. And the Coyotes make a trade with the Blackhawks. WIND Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
They are not, in capital letters, coming into the USA. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Trump just tweeted that about the caravan of Central American migrants, calling many of them stone-cold criminals, urging Mexico to send them back to their countries, threatening to close the border permanently. The day after some of those migrants made a rush for the U.S. border near San Diego, Fox's Rachel Sutherland has details live from Washington.
Dave, rocks and tear gas on the border in Tijuana, prompting Border Patrol to close north and southbound crossings for hours yesterday. This migrant says she's getting desperate.
We can't stay like this. It's inhumane. We are living like dogs, and the truth is that I don't know what we're going to do. I'm getting tired.
Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen released a statement saying the DHS will not tolerate this type of lawlessness and will not hesitate to shut down ports of entry. Dave?
Rachel, it's still snowing this morning in Chicago. There are blizzard and or storm warnings stretching from there to northern New England, making for more difficult travel.
We saw all of the things on Facebook about the blizzard and how much snow is going to come in. We were like, oh my gosh, we better not get delayed or anything, but we just beat it.
She was lucky to get out of Chicago. More than 500 flights canceled in the U.S. today, most of them to and from Chicago. More than 1,000 grounded in the snow yesterday. It's another day retailers hope we shop. From home or at work, Cyber Monday.
Retailers have already scored major profits this weekend, with overall Black Friday sales projected to total $23 billion alone. That's up about 9% from 2017. Now, a large chunk of that was generated on the internet.
That's Fox Business Network's Tracy Carrasco. A researcher in China is claiming he's helped create the first genetically modified babies in fertility treatments. Twin girls born this month, he says, have altered DNA to try to give them a resistance to getting HIV. It's gene editing that's banned in the U.S. Some other scientists call it unsafe human experimentation. This is Fox News.
Heavy snow and blizzard-like conditions will continue for about the next 30 minutes to a half an hour. And then there's some tapering off in the forecast. 31 degrees at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. We've had light rain change over to snow in northwest Indiana now, from Lansing into northwest Indiana and Kankakee to parts east and south. Blizzard warning remains in effect from northeast Missouri to southeast Wisconsin and the greater Chicagoland area. Snow of up to a foot and wind gusts of up to 50 miles an hour. The storm, by number, 3.4 inches of snow officially at Midway right now. Our top wind gust in the state, 56 miles an hour at Coles. 9 inches of snow in Boone, 11.5 inches of snow for the duration of the storm in McHenry County. Chicago Department of Aviation says the average flight delay is about 77 minutes this morning. And the flight tracking website FlightAware says over 350 flights were delayed or canceled at O'Hare as of early this morning, more at Midway. And there are many, many schools closed. Chicago Public Schools have yet to close. We're awaiting word on that. In the meantime, many schools are shut down, including the South Berwyn schools, Dirksen Junior High, Lake Park High School. All campuses in Roselle are closed this morning. Zion Benton High School, North High and Grays Lake, Vernon Hills High School, Joliet Township High School is closed today. Stagg, Andrew, and Sandburg High Schools in Orland Park and in that area are closed, as well as the Waukegan Public Schools, District 60, are closed today. Just a few of the many schools that are closed throughout the area. This morning, check with your local district. Their website will have complete and the best detail on which schools are open and closed today. In other news, we're following this morning the 6-year-old case of a suburban Chicago man accused of trying to detonate what he thought was a bomb in Chicago, may be nearing a resolution. A Chicago federal judge will hear arguments in the Adel Daoud case today. Former Chicagoan George Papadopoulos ordered to report to a Wisconsin prison today for 2 weeks. A federal judge rejecting the former Trump campaign advisor's bid to delay his small sentence. And police are looking for a 15-year-old boy who was missing for more than 2 weeks from Chicago's northwest side. Damarian Mitchell was last seen November 7th near North Spalding and West Wrightwood Avenue. He left home with several pieces of clothing and a red rolling suitcase. The Blackhawks have traded Nick Schmaltz to the Arizona Coyotes for Dylan Strom and Brendan Perlini in a swap involving 3 former first-round draft picks. Spurs take on the Bulls, and the Fighting Illini have extended the contract of football coach Lovie Smith for 2 more years. The News is a service of Napa. Now through December, Napa's having its biggest holiday sale ever with hundreds of items at their best prices of the year. Items like a 26-piece screwdriver set for only $17.99. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how while supplies last. 6:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity just doesn't understand why Florida can't get it right.
It matters to every American here. We've got to get these elections right. And if one more election season is ever allowed to go by in Florida and allow Broward and Palm Beach to do what they're doing, we're never, ever going to get an accurate number already as it is. It is mind-numbing.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
It's the holiday sales event at Ford. It's a big deal, and we're busy making preparations to get you the best deals of the year. Because unlike Santa's presents, ours don't just magically appear. At Ford, ours are built in real factories, where pickup trucks come with best-in-class towing and payload, where SUVs are built with available features like terrain management and driver assist technologies, and where every bolt, stitch, and line of code is tested and tested again. But you don't have to write Santa a letter to get these presents. Naughty or nice, just come see your Ford dealer during our holiday sales event for our best offers of the year. Ford, built for the holidays, built Ford proud.
Best-in-class towing and payload when properly configured. Class is light-duty pickups under 8,500 pounds GVWR based on Ford segmentation.
Payroll, bookkeeping, month end. Are you feeling short-staffed? Accountemps can provide accounting and finance professionals on a temporary or project basis when you need them to help with increased workloads. Call them today or visit accountemps.com. Accountemps, a Robert Half company.
6:07. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. In for Jim, here's Al.
On the northbound Tri-State after Deerfield Road, an accident blocking the 2 right lanes. Be careful, the road is snow-covered there and slippery. On the Edens inbound, half hour Lake Cook to the Kennedy Junction, 31 back out to Lake Cook. The Kennedy into downtown, that's a half an hour trip, and about 31 back out to O'Hare. Eisenhower in, 43 to the Circle, 44 back out to Route 390. Stevenson's 42 into Lakeshore Drive, 43 back out to 355. Outbound at Cass, a report of an accident. And the Dan Ryan inbound, about 20 minutes, slows from Cermak to the Burns Circle, 15 down to 95th, so no delays there. That's traffic. I'm Al Verdi. From the Balance of Nature Traffic Center on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, here's our meteorologist, Jillian Ford.
Today, a little snow early this morning. Storm total snowfall 6 to 10 inches with a high of 31. Tonight, becoming clear, breezy, and colder with a low of 14. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and very cold. High tomorrow, 24. I'm Jillian Ford on AM 560, The Answer.
7.4 inches of snow officially at O'Hare. 4.1 inches of snow has fallen at O'Hare since midnight. It's 29 at O'Hare, 32 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 6:30. Breaking news as it happens. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Lou Bridges Show. Get foreclosure defense solutions that may save your home. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Once again, I'd like to thank Illinois Department of Transportation for leaving the Kennedy Expressway an unblemished winter wonderland this morning for my drive to work. Really, really enjoyable. It made me feel like a kid again. Like I wasn't in a sedan, I was in a toboggan, just sliding around in between other toboggans.
Where do our tax dollars go? I don't. And then the Jane Addams was a hot mess. It reminded me of mashed potatoes, that we had on Thanksgiving because there was no lanes defined and people were just sliding all over. I saw a spin out right next to you, and I was worried. You were close to death there, Dan, and thank God was watching over you.
It's the city that works, and since I cheated death this morning, I'm not going to take you up on that offer for the Hot Pocket in the kitchenette. I don't know if you're doing a Jim Gaffigan routine or what.
No,
who eats Hot Pockets?
Peyton and Eli love Hot Pockets, but now they're moved on. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I just
like grown up.
I just ate a Hot Pocket in a crisper sleeve. I haven't done that since the 90s.
Yeah.
And it's so far so good. It's all right.
We'll do a the non-emergency number to the local hospital just to have Alexian Brothers on standby for when that hits your system. All right. Yesterday, Alan Dershowitz, famed constitutional lawyer, Harvard professor, Alan Dershowitz, friend of the show.
Yeah, I respect him.
He made news yesterday. He's been an equal opportunity critic, which is why he is deserving of some respect. He's looked at his interpretation of the Constitution when it comes to matters of special counsel and others. He said yesterday what feels to be the case, which is the Mueller report is coming in the not-too-distant future, and here's the impact Dershowitz thinks it will have on the Trump presidency.
That's an awful lot of people tied to the president providing evidence.
It is, and I think the report is going to be devastating to the president, and I know that the president's team is already working on a response to the report. And so at some point, when the report's made public, and that's a very hard question considering the new attorney general who has the authority to decide when and under what circumstance to make it public, it will be made public probably with a response alongside. The president will say, look, it's political. There's their account and there's our account, and then the American public will have to judge the credibility.
For you to say it's devastating is really something, Dan.
Yeah, well, it's something. It is a little something. It is really something, particularly when what we know to this point is, Papadopoulos is going to go serve his 2-week sentence, and Manafort is awaiting trial. This rogues gallery of...
I call it the land of misfit toys, these clowns.
Well, these sort of, unsavory operators and low-level operatives, this all is going to be cobbled together by Mueller into something that's politically devastating, not legally. Dershowitz made clear to make that distinction. I guess he's got to have some kind of... he's got to make it somewhat politically valuable. Otherwise, what has the last 18 months been about? But it just doesn't seem like the requisite raw material is there for Mueller at this point. But maybe Dershowitz knows something we don't. I doubt he knows something Andy McCarthy doesn't. So let's get his view on it. Andy McCarthy, former Chief Assistant U.S. Attorney in Manhattan, contributing editor at National Review. Andy, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Good morning.
Morning. So what about Dershowitz's pronouncement on the forthcoming Mueller report?
Well, he may be right, but I think, this goes to a question that I've been trying to raise for the last couple of months, which is, what is Mueller's job? And I think, when you define his job, then you should define his report. And what I mean by that is, if he is a federal prosecutor, which is what I think he is, and for all the hoopla about the special counsel's office, in the chain of command, he's actually not even of the rank of a United States attorney. He's not, confirmed by the Senate. He's not a principal officer. He basically answers to the Justice Department in the chain of command. This is to distinguish him from, say, being counsel to a congressional impeachment committee, or, being Bob Woodward writing a book about, what his views are of the president's fitness to be president. A federal prosecutor's job in an investigation is basically one thing. There's enough evidence to charge or there isn't. And if there's not enough evidence to charge, what the Justice Department typically does is you decline prosecution. You give a short explanation for why you're declining prosecution on the charges that you're authorized to investigate, and you put the file to bed because if you remember, with respect to James Comey, the former FBI director, and Hillary Clinton, one of the big things that Comey was criticized for, and in fact that Rod Rosenstein, the current Deputy Attorney General, cited him for in writing that memorandum that was used to justify his ouster, is that you're not supposed to talk about the evidence about uncharged people in investigation. If the government has enough evidence, it files charges. If it doesn't, it's not supposed to speak publicly about the charges. So I think, if you consider Mueller to be a federal prosecutor, his report should be very narrow. If he's got charges, he should bring them. If he doesn't have charges, then he should give a short explanation for why he's declining on the couple of charges that he's authorized to investigate and call it a day. I feel like Dershowitz does that that's not what's going to happen here.
Well, the acting Attorney General, Matt Whitaker, could he, obviously he's going to see the report and read the report. Can he just sit on it?
Well, I think he'd have a hard time completely sitting on it, Amy, but he certainly could put out simply the parts that explain, this is why charges are brought and this is why they're not. The problem with that is it will heighten in the public mind the importance of the parts of the report that are unseen, which of course the public will clamor for, and the Democrats in Congress will subpoena the report. So it will ratchet up the pressure on the White House to disclose the whole thing. The idea is not to let Mueller go off and write his own report. The idea would be for the guy who's supervising him in the Justice Department to tell him the format that the report should take, not to have this squabble over unseen and unredacted parts of it.
Well, and Dershowitz mentioned as well, he expects that, the report will be accompanied, the release of the report will be accompanied with a prepared White House response to it to try and, give both sides of the story or both perspectives at the same time.
Yeah, well, that's right. When you give a one-sided report, normally in litigation, in criminal cases in the federal system, what happens is the grand jury files an indictment, and then the defendant has a chance to defend himself in court with counsel and under all the due process rules. If the grand jury does not indict, usually you hear nothing. So it's really not fair to have a situation where they're not going to charge you, so you don't have the right to defend yourself in court, but they're going to say nasty things about you that hurt you politically rather than legally, and you don't have an opportunity for your own side of the story. So I guess that's the structure that they're trying to come up with.
Just in terms of your sense of where this is at, it seems like the conventional wisdom is this report is going to be coming soon. The investigation is going to wrap up in the relatively near term. With Trump providing his answers, written answers to Mueller questions last week, and sort of the stories about Jerome Corsi negotiating a plea deal and Roger Stone, but it's the same people. It doesn't seem like the circle is expanding much. It's the same players that are just moving towards some kind of conclusion with respect to their individual participation or the adjudication of their participation in the campaign. Is that your sense as well, that there's not much more for Mueller to do here other than finish out the prosecutions that he's opened?
Yeah, Dan, it is. In fact, I don't even think he's going to finish out the prosecutions he's opened. I think, those cases against the Russians, for example, which have never, those are just, those indictments I think are just publicity stunts more than anything else. There's no expectation that anyone's actually going to be charged or tried on those. And the cases that he's brought against, for example, Flynn and Manafort and others, as Papadopoulos, who you just mentioned, those cases are either heading for sentencing in the very near future, or people are actually, like Papadopoulos, I guess, is starting a sentence today. So usually in an investigation, if you have witnesses who are cooperating, you don't let them get sentenced until you're at the end of the investigation. You wait until they've testified and they've given the full extent of their cooperation. So the fact that he's letting them be sentenced certainly strongly signals that we're reaching the end here.
And Papadopoulos, I mean, he begins he's surrendering at a Wisconsin correctional facility today for that 14-day prison sentence. He tried to get it delayed, but the judge said, too late. Sorry. What exactly was his role? I've heard that he was an errand boy, and then others describe him as a campaign advisor.
Yeah, I don't know that there were campaign advisors to speak of formally in the Trump campaign. It was a very kind of loosey-goosey, chaotic arrangement, but for a core bunch of advisors who were around him. And I think, you had these people who were hangers-on, who the campaign put out that they were advisors, but I think that was more because the public expected Trump to have advisors than that they were actually doing much in the way of advising. I don't think Papadopoulos to me is the most interesting case and telltale case of all of the people who've come up in this, because if you look at the factual statement, Amy, that Mueller filed when Papadopoulos pled guilty, collusion pours off every page of the factual statement. He's meeting with guys who supposedly have contacts with the Kremlin. They're trying to arrange meetings that never happened between Trump and Putin. They're talking about emails, but they're not clear about whether they're talking about the emails that Hillary Clinton deleted or the emails that got hacked. But the point is, there's no evidence that Papadopoulos ever got any emails or knew where the emails were coming from. And in the end, after all of that heavy breathing, what does Mueller plead him guilty to? False statement to an FBI agent about the timing of a meeting.
Yeah, exactly.
Much ado about nothing.
I wanted to get your take on the other side of the House, if you will, the House Judiciary Committee, Bob Goodlatte, trying to maximize his remaining days as chairman of that committee, issuing subpoenas for Comey and Lynch per the investigation into Justice Department decision-making in 2016. Comey saying, nope, not going to do that, only would agree to public testimony. Trey Gowdy, chairman of the House Oversight Committee, former prosecutor, suggesting the way we should do it is have a taped deposition and then with Comey, and then release the entirety of the tape so people can see questions and answer over an extended period of time in context, rather than this dog and pony show of different members of Congress each getting 5 minutes at the wheel to try and get to the heart of 17 months worth of decision making. What's your take on the subpoenas and Gowdy's recommendation in terms of the Republican approach that should be taken?
Yeah, I think it would have been a lot more interesting a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
I think now this is just all post-midterm election posturing by Gowdy and everyone else. I don't know why if Comey has the capacity, which he does, to drag his feet for legal reasons, why would he agree to anything at this point when the Democrats are going to take the committee over? There's only a finite number of legislative days left. So it's not like he's got to drag his feet for months and months. He's got to drag his feet for a few days, and then the Democrats take over. Why would he agree to do anything in the meantime?
Yeah, that's a rhetorical question with an obvious answer. Andy McCarthy, former Chief Assistant U.S. Attorney in Manhattan, contributing editor at National Review, nationalreview.com. You can always find his musings on these important topics. Andy, thanks for joining us as always. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Have a great week.
You too.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Winners don't wait for chances. They take them, seizing opportunities that come their way, having the courage necessary to make the game-winning play when it's all on the line. It's what sets us apart from the rest. Your home for Husky basketball is right here on the Northern Illinois Husky Sports Network.
It's the Huskies against the Green Bay Phoenix this Wednesday night at 7. Don't miss a minute of NIU basketball on AM 560, The Answer.
Want your home's furnace to stay safe and reliable? And want to prevent any potential problems before they happen? At your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we recommend an annual furnace inspection and tune-up. Right now, get a $79 furnace tune-up. Call 855-1 Hour. Because not taking care of your furnace, that's just cold.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
What if you could enjoy total peace of mind when it comes to home security? What if the best technology came from a local company who puts the customer's needs first? Alarm Detection Systems is the right choice for an alarm system with complete control from your phone or tablet. Know when your children arrive home from school. View live streaming video. Check up on your pets. Receive alerts for extreme temperatures. Know if leaks or floods have been detected. Get real-time text alerts sent to your phone. Family-owned and operated since 1968, Alarm Detection Systems understands that nothing is more important than the safety of your family. Your security system will be monitored by our central station in Aurora, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Alarm Detection Systems is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Our on-site security consultation is always free. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6322. That's 630-844-6322. Alarm license number 127000143.
Did you know that studies have shown that we need over 10 servings of fruits and veggies every single day? If you're like me, it's hard to find the time and money to prepare and eat all of those fruits and vegetables. Who can do that? Yet we know that proper nutrition can prevent health problems, give us energy, and help us heal faster. Balance of Nature has spent over 20 years researching and delivering solutions to this problem. We can ensure that you consume over 30 different fruits and veggies every single day. Our capsules are filled with 100% real whole foods. There isn't a single thing added to Balance of Nature products. They're pure. We spent an incredible amount of time on the quality of our products. We do this for you. We do it for our own families. Give yourself a break and give your body what it needs.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. It's an exciting time of the year. JOICA has been formally conjoined.
Oh, yeah, they had a secret wedding over the weekend. Shh, don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And guess who officiated the wedding? It wasn't President Bill Clinton. It wasn't Obama. It was Representative Elijah Cummings. He was the one, and they got married. Are you ready for this? At the National Archives on Saturday, right in front of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. Quote, we wanted it to be really small and simple and not what you expected from Mika and Joe. Brzezinski told Vanity Fair on the day of her nuptials. Everything we do is exposed, and everything felt exposed every step of the way, so we wanted this to be private until it's over.
Fascinating. They're our royal couple. That's like a royal wedding in America, is Mika and Joe.
The newlywoods left for their honeymoon on Sunday, Dan. So
Okay.
they're off the air this week, just
All
in
right.
case.
All right,
but
we'll
they
see you
just
later.
started allowing weddings at the National Archives,
Yeah.
literally. And I don't think that you should get married in front of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. Some things should be sacred and held that way.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly,
Like
we're gonna
marriage,
throw
for
a
example.
Well, that too. Don't forget, yeah, that too. But seriously, I don't think that they should allow them to get married there.
I've lost interest in that story and those two long ago, so I don't have anything more to give. I don't have anything more to give. But here's where I do have something more to give, and that's to Food for the Poor.
Yes, that's real news.
We've launched our 2018 campaign in conjunction with Food for the Poor. Our goal again this year, Food for a Year, Water for Life for 3,000 children in Haiti. Food for the Poor, 5-star Charity Navigator rated, 95 cents on the dollar goes to these children and families in Haiti who are facing life-threatening starvation and dehydration. And we need your help to hit our mark again this year and provide Food for a Year, Water for Life for these 3,000 children in the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere.
And we're asking for a gift of just $80, and that will provide food for a year and water for life for one child or adult in Haiti. Make a one-time donation on behalf of your well-fed child or grandchild. Make a donation in their honor. And to do so, call 844-862-HOPE. That's 844-862-HOPE. Or visit 560theanswer.com/food. It just takes a few seconds to affect the lives of of those less fortunate in places like Haiti. But we also, if you own a business, or if you're the marketing manager, listen up. We have the best deal for you in Chicago radio. It's the Business Benefactor Program.
And $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Food for the Poor, and your business will get 40 60-second commercials on our airwaves. Primetime hours, Monday to Friday, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. is our way of saying thank you for your generosity and support of these families in Haiti and this campaign that we're doing in conjunction with Food for the Poor. So for you entrepreneurs, I know there are many owner-operators out there, many entrepreneurs. This is a good deal and a way to do good while getting something back for your business to help it grow.
And you know, one of our first business benefactors when we started this campaign some 10 years ago, Tom Sadeka from Precision Payroll, and he has been with us ever since. And it was really,
now he's a billionaire.
I know, and it was really a way to take his business to the next level. One-time donation, $2,500, as a way of saying thank you. We will give you 40 60-second commercials. I can voice them. Dan could voice them. Joe Walsh, whoever, even Sean from Elmwood Park.
Maybe Tom Sadeka.
Tom Sadeka.
He's got nothing but time on his hands. He's so rich.
Yeah, to become a business benefactor, call our sales manager, Anjanette Nikowski. Call her directly at 847-472-8951. Again, that's 847-472-8951. Or go to 560theanswer.com, search for the keyword food. You're going to want to get in on this program because it really is the best radio deal in all of Chicago.
Coming up at 6:36, are Republicans experiencing a Roy Moore redux in Mississippi, albeit on the issue of race, not sexual conduct? You got a special election tomorrow, and Trump's going to be in Mississippi today to try and make sure that stays Republican. We'll discuss.
And later, what NBA star has been ousted by his transgender male lover? Whew. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Heavy snow, blizzard-like conditions. Hundreds of schools are closed in the greater Chicagoland area, southeast Wisconsin and northwest Indiana. 28 degrees officially at 6:31. A wind chill right now of 14 above, but gusts have hit as high as 56 miles an hour in the state of Illinois. And in the Chicago area, 20 to 30 miles an hour wind gusts have been registered. 11.5 inches of snow is your total in McHenry County right now, and that blizzard warning remains in effect from northeast Missouri into southeast Wisconsin and into northwest Indiana, the greater Chicagoland area included, and that will stay in effect for a few more hours. The Department of Aviation says average flight delays are at 77 minutes and well over 300 flights into and out of O'Hare, and more at Midway were either scrubbed or delayed as of early this morning. In other news we're following, President Trump says he'll close the southern border permanently if necessary. In a tweet this morning, the president says Mexico should send immigrants at the border back to their home countries. As many as 500 of them stormed a U.S. border fence, and they will be deported from Mexico. That all started as a peaceful protest by migrants who then broke it down into a chaotic scene at the border, observed by Fox News Radio's Griff Jenkins.
Hundreds of the more than 5,000 migrants camped across the border rushed the port of entry near San Diego. It began as a peaceful demonstration on the Mexican side, but devolved into chaos, causing Border Patrol officials to fire tear gas into Tijuana as Mexican officials arrested dozens for attempting to violently enter the United States. Officials had to temporarily close that port of entry at San Ysidro as Mexican officials vowed to deport those that they arrested and tighten the security along the border. And this situation is prompting lawmakers headed back to Washington to really put a priority on this issue.
Over the weekend, there were several reports claiming the president had reached a deal with Mexico's president-elect that would keep those migrants in Mexico while their asylum claims are heard. Mexico is putting down those reports as of this morning. Jury selection begins today in the trial of a man accused of driving his car into counter-protesters while at a nationalist rally in Charlottesville, Virginia last year. 21-year-old James Field Jr., self-described neo-Nazi, is charged with first-degree murder and other crimes in that alleged attack, killing 32-year-old Heather Heyer. California's deadliest and most destructive wildfire is now fully contained. 85 were killed in the Camp Fire. It destroyed nearly 19,000 homes and other buildings. The 6-year-old case of a suburban Chicago man accused of trying to detonate what he thought was a bomb in Chicago may be nearing a resolution. Chicago federal judge hears arguments today in a defense motion to try and let 25-year-old Adel Daoud enter an Alford plea. Authorities are warning people about a man who tried to lure 3 children in Western Springs. Police say the suspect approached the children Saturday along Lawn Avenue while holding an envelope. He said, apparently to the children, he had something for the kids. The man was driving an older model champagne-colored sedan with a black top, and Western Springs police are increasing their patrols. Chicago Blackhawks trade Nick Schmaltz overnight to the Arizona Coyotes for a pair of former first-round draft picks, Dylan Strom and Brendan Perlini. Spurs take on the Bulls, and the Fighting Illini extend the football coach contract of Lovie Smith for 2 more years. The news service of Napa. Whether you get snow, sleet, rain, winter weather can be dangerous. Napa has everything you need to help you drive safely, like batteries, wiper blades, antifreeze, and more. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how. 6:36, and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
In the last 2 years, this president somehow managed to defeat the mainstream media and the forces of darkness on the left. He managed to get 2 strong judges in the Supreme Court. He turned around a bad economy and put millions back to work. He rebuilt the military, saved sick veterans. He beat back the Islamic terrorists known as ISIS. But these victories are hanging by a thread. Now the real fight begins to keep those gains and get more. It's not time to let up now. Find out what needs to be done. Stick with this station to know more. AM 560, The Answer.
This is Michael Medved. I'm here with Mike Stahl from Health Markets, helping folks find the right Medicare coverage. The news reports say that the rates might be going down.
The government projects the cost of Medicare plans will decrease this year. So you have to ask yourself, are you getting the best rate? Health Markets offers a free service with access to thousands of Medicare plans nationwide to help folks maximize their benefits and save money.
What is it people need to keep in mind?
Enrollment in the right plan is not automatic. With so many Medicare options, it can be confusing. My advice, don't go it alone. Get unbiased help to find a plan that may cost less and cover more with lower co-payments, more choices like dental and vision, and the freedom to choose your doctors. With the enrollment deadline only weeks away, it's important to act now. Our Health Markets Medicare assistance is free.
Thanks, Mike. This is Michael Medved for Health Markets.
For your free Medicare assistance, call 800-741-5592. That's 800-741-5592. 800-741-5592.
Hello, I'm Lou Bridges. The 2008 housing crisis hit everybody hard, and it's not over yet. In the wake of the crisis, the government passed legislation and created a special federal agency just for the purpose of protecting consumers. If you're facing foreclosure or have been subject to unfair, harassing creditor behavior, there are laws to protect you. But you have to know those laws in order to use them and get the relief you need. Whether you're facing foreclosure, about to lose your home to a big bank or mortgage loan servicer, or if you were injured in an accident and need help in getting what you deserve from an insurance company, call our offices today. The big banks, mortgage loan servicers, and insurance companies have teams of aggressive lawyers fighting for them. And if you need help with dealing with a big bank, mortgage loan servicer, or an insurance company, you need someone fighting for you. I've been representing people in Illinois for almost 40 years in these fields. Call my office today for a free consultation. Call us at 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231. 224-513-1231. Lou Bridges and Associates, lawyers for people.
6:38. Before we update traffic, just a reminder that hundreds of schools are closed in the area. Everything from the Orchard Place School in Des Plaines to Orland Junior High in Orland Park. Oswego East and senior high schools are closed today. Plenty of other schools, including Plainfield East, Plainfield North high schools, are closed today. And again, that's just a few of the hundreds of schools. Palatine High School closed today as well. And we'll continue to go through parts of that list for you as we check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. In for Jim, here's Al.
On the northbound Tri-State at Half Day Road, an accident blocking the 2 right lanes. And 90 westbound east of Arlington Heights, an accident has the right lane blocked. On the Edens, in the meantime, inbound at Dempster, there's a car in the ditch. It's on the ramp from westbound Dempster to the inbound Edens. Inbound 31-minute trip from Lake Hook to the Kennedy Junction. Back out also about 31 minutes. The Kennedy in, that's 37. And outbound, we're looking at 35 minutes. O'Hare Extension westbound, that jams up between Kennedy and Mannheim. And on the O'Hare Extension westbound at Mannheim, a car in the ditch. That's on the ramp to southbound Mannheim. That's traffic. I'm Al Verdi. From the Balance of Nature Traffic Center on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, gusty winds will continue to lead to blizzard-like conditions, although we see the snow, the end of the snow beginning to push through the Calb, where right now it's just cloudy. And that is moving eastward right now. Low of 28 overnight, high of 31 later today. Monday night, low around 15. Currently 29. Next news coming up at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by AM Woodland Outdoor Design, creating a landscape to be proud of. amwoodland.com.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Hope everybody had a lovely Thanksgiving holiday. And tomorrow we've got the last race of the midterm election cycle. This is a Senate race in Mississippi that went to runoff, replacing Thad Cochran. Cindy Hyde-Smith is the Republican nominee. Former Congressman and Clinton-era Secretary of Agriculture Mike Espy is the Democrat nominee. And this race has turned into a bit of a mess for the Republicans. Trump is going to be in Gulfport and Tupelo tonight doing 2 rallies for Hyde-Smith.
And why is Tupelo important? It's the birthplace of Elvis Presley.
Oh, of course.
Not just a degree. It's not just Tupelo. It's Tupelo, Mississippi.
That's the worst Elvis impersonation I've ever heard. So this is important, not just for the spread in the Senate. It's another test for Trump. He's got a 60% approval rating in Mississippi. So he's popular in Mississippi. He may be able to help Hyde-Smith across the finish line because she has been beset by essentially charges of racism in the closing weeks of the campaign, really since from November 6th to present. This should be a slam dunk. Mississippi hasn't elected a Democrat to the United States Senate in 35 years. But she's gotten a couple of hits. One was I'd attend a public hanging and sit in the front row.
If he was there and she was in front of a small group of people, and somebody caught it on an iPhone, and she's since apologized for that.
So the context of this, cattle rancher, a guy named Colin Hutchison, who's a supporter, said a bunch of nice things about her. She comes up to the mic and she says, if he invited me to a public hanging, I'd be on the front row. And of course, given Mississippi's history
with lynchings
and racism and and segregation and the slowness to eliminate segregation and so forth, this was interpreted in a light least favorable to Senator Smith, and Mike Espy trying to make hay of this as an indication of racism. She represents the bad old days in Mississippi. And then there's this other story that came out.
Yeah, over the weekend about the segregation academy that she attended, and then she enrolled her daughter in a similar school. Mm-hmm. What are these segregation academies? I've never even heard about them before this weekend.
Well, it's a private school. It's not formally a segregation academy. It's termed that because the indication was white parents don't send their kids to public schools because they don't want their kids to go to school with black kids, and so they send them to these private schools that were,
It's all women.
But they're treated as segregation schools. You're sending your kids there because you're racist. Who doesn't want your kid to go to school with black kids? That's the argument. Okay. That's the perception among some, and of course, per the sort of racial lens through which people are seeing and hearing the previous comment, Now this, again, because you got to put this in the context of Mississippi's history, is seeing as yet more evidence of racism. And she's had, after the public hanging comment, she had a bunch of corporations pull their financial support for her. There's also been, now everybody's pouring over her financial disclosure reports and finds a contribution from some former Klan member that she returned. And so this is all that she is a racist and she represents bad old days of Mississippi. And so Mike Espy, who's also African-American, is the better choice. Now, the interesting thing is Hyde-Smith, Democrat turned Republican. Mike Espy, Democrat, always a Democrat, but he previously endorsed Haley Barbour, the Republican candidate, the Republican governor, two-term governor, Republican governor of Mississippi. He previously crossed the aisle to vote for Haley Barbour. So Espy is not like one of these, Antifa, Ocasio-Cortez, leftist lunatics. And so this race feels, and I haven't seen any recent polling on it, but it feels like it's tightened up a bit. And I think that's why you have Trump going down to Mississippi tonight to make sure that he doesn't lose a seat in Mississippi after losing a seat in Alabama that should be lost.
Yeah. Do you think President Trump's going to help her? I mean, she could take all the help she can get right now.
She doesn't strike me as a particularly great candidate. I don't pretend to know the intricacies of Mississippi politics, although I almost went down there once to run a governor's race.
Did you really?
Had a nice visit to Jackson. But great Johnny Cash song.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Going back to Jack. Do you want me to do my Johnny Cash?
I certainly do not.
Well, who are you going to help out? What candidate?
Oh, this is 100 years ago. So anyway.
Okay, so I guess I'm not going to find
the point is you've got to this the interesting thing I guess I should say about this, in addition to this sort of poor choice of a joke, the whole sitting up, go to a public hanging with him and sit in the front row if he invited me as some kind of testament to their friendship. These segregation academies, quote unquote. Oh, you send your kid to a private school. You send your kid to an all-girls private school.
That's what it was, essentially.
Yeah, what do you think happens with all the cosmopolitan leftists in Chicago? Or in the leafy suburbs, the well-heeled leafy suburbs? What do you think they do? How was James Meeks treated when he took a bunch of black kids up to New Trier? I mean, he was treated, respectfully. But, I mean, what was the real subtext of his visit to New Trier to try and demonstrate, inequality of educational opportunities, the North Shore versus the South Side, for example? I mean, I just love the D.C. press corps whipping this up, whipping Miss Hyde-Smith up as some kind of racist because of her poor choice of words, and then trying to stitch together that story. We need a day 2. We need a day 3.
What else has she done?
To keep this going that she's a racist, we need to tar and feather her as a racist.
And they said not only did she attend these segregation academies, then she sent her daughter to one. It's just a private all-girls school. And it's not different than, Rahm Emanuel and his wife Amy goes to Amundsen High School, which you called Allman Brothers High School, during homecoming. The queen is here. We should be so happy. No, we'd be happy if they would have sent their kids to that school because that was their neighborhood school. But they didn't. Instead, they sent them to lab and spent, what $25,000? How much is it a year there to send your kid to this elite school?
Plus.
And God forbid if he sent his kids to Lakeview. Oh, dear Lord. We can't have that happen.
I mean, I just
because we don't have what they have.
I love the preening, particularly, again, in this city, which is routinely and properly described as the most segregated city in America, segregated big city. I'm talking about Chicago. Now it's de facto segregation, not de jure segregation, like before the Civil Rights Act of 1964. But the de facto segregation has the same effect. Black and Latino families are relegated to schools that we know will fail them because they've been failing kids and families for half a century, and they're told to oppose opportunity scholarships, for example, so they can go to the same schools that I was able to go to because of my parents' sacrifice, or Rahm or Obama, and on down the line of all the Chicago Pauls and all the leftists financiers and captains of industry in the city send their kids. You want to? I mean, I'd love to have this conversation and make this a national conversation. You want to take Hyde-Smith to task for sending her kid to the best school available, which ostensibly is what she did? Oh, let's have that conversation in Chicago. You don't want to have that conversation in Chicago because it's not Republicans who've been in charge lording over a system that discriminates against children based on their household income and their address, which disproportionately, of course, discriminates against minority families. I mean, CPS is 85% minority.
Yeah, I know.
So let's have that conversation about segregation, de facto segregation. Candace in Mount Pleasant, Wisconsin, by way of DuPage.
Good morning. I think she might lose because I've been watching her on Twitter, and she's doing a really poor job social media-wise. And the other thing is, when somebody accuses her of that, she should fight back on Twitter. And she should say, you're damn right I send my kids to private school. It's because I don't want some freak leftist teacher teaching my kids that there's more than two sexes. It's very easy to fight back against these things, especially in Mississippi, where people are pretty normal, but she's not doing that. So I mean, it's just going to end up like another Sally, what's her name, over in Arizona. If you're too weak, then you're not going to make it. Amongst, the super conservatives are not going to come out for you.
Thanks for the call, Candace.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Bob Agnew in for Lou Dobbs, who returns at midday. Totaling up the profits from holiday season shopping, GM brakes under investigation. Road salt prices skyrocket. Those stories next.
Stocks and options trading involves financial risk and is not suitable for all investors.
Hey guys, it's Scott Bauer here, CEO of Prosper Trading Academy. Are you looking for a super hot stock tip? Here at Prosper, we are always looking for exciting opportunities in the markets. And right now, all my students are salivating over this stock we are watching. In fact, I've got this hot stock written down right here, and I'm about to text it to you for free. I just need to know where to send it. Simply text HOT to 48542, and I'll text it to you instantly. How do I know this stock is so hot? Well, I'm a former CBOE market maker for Amazon Options, former vice president of Goldman Sachs, and I have over 25 years of professional trading experience. I'm telling you, this stock is hot. But be warned, the stock may move soon, so you need to claim it before it does. Text HOT to 48542, and I'll text you this hot stock instantly. Text HOT to 48542, and I'll text you this hot stock instantly. Message and data rates may apply.
Retailers nationwide are still totaling up sales figures from both Black Friday and Small Business Saturday, even as online Cyber Monday gets underway today. Once all the brick-and-mortar and online deals are over, the National Retail Federation is projecting total holiday sales this season at about $721 billion. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is investigating more than 100 complaints of poor brake performance on General Motors SUVs and pickups. The vacuum pump can deteriorate, impacting ability to stop at normal distances. As winter weather ramps up, cities and towns are facing tight supplies of road salt, coupled with up to 50% increases in the cost of the salt, which is used to melt ice and snow on the roadways. Please join us for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. Arizona's Republican Governor Doug Ducey earned 44% of the Latino vote en route to his easy re-election. No hand recount for Governor-elect Ron DeSantis in Florida, who garnered 44% of the Latino vote and 14% of the black vote. The 400,000 Florida kids and 260,000 Arizona kids who benefit from school choice, the majority from minority families, are reshaping the GOP's electoral coalitions in those states. White Guilt author Shelby Steele argues this occurrence is more than a powerful argument for school choice. It's a messaging imperative for conservatives. As Steele told me, black families have moved beyond the idealism of the civil rights era to search for pragmatic answers to economic concerns the welfare state not only failed to address, but worsened. By contrast, Champaign socialists in the leafy suburbs are in search of a moral calling. The Black Lives Matter yard sign in the lawn of your local Mayflower descendant should have been a tip-off. Bottom line, we've been making the wrong arguments to the wrong constituents. Fiscal conservatism has limited appeal to the vanguard class, as does pantomiming Al Sharpton with minority families. For the latter, it's money they lack. For the former, to borrow from James Earl Jones and Field of Dreams, it's money they have and peace they lack.
Sometimes when it rains, it pours right into your basement.
This is Gus from Chicagoland Waterproofing. My mission is to identify why your home is taking on water and fix it. I want you to sleep at night during a rainstorm and not worry about your basement filling up with water. Like our client Kim from Mount Prospect.
We had chronic basement flooding and no one could figure out why. During a huge storm, water was pouring in through the window wells of our finished basement and we had to bail out 6 inches of water. We got a bunch of estimates, but Gus's was the most reasonable, plus he knew exactly what the problem was. He put in a full basement drain tile system and an additional sub pump with a backup battery. Chicagoland Waterproofing gave us peace of mind. I like to say, in Gus we trust.
From simple sump pumps to complex storm drainage and crack foundation solutions, Chicagoland Waterproofing's work comes with a lifetime warranty. Plus, a fully licensed plumber is always on staff. Request your estimate today at ChicagolandWaterproofingPros.com or call 847-296-3500.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I had cancer. I have fibromyalgia, I have nerve damage and fatigue, I have thalassemia, I'm hypoglycemic. So my life since cancer, I've had to learn how to live with it. But starting Balance of Nature, I felt it the first month, I felt different. It made such a difference that now I wake up, my head feels clearer, I have more energy. Very rarely does my body cramp up anymore. It's the best thing. It's just amazing. I don't know what to say. I just would not be what I am today if I didn't start Balance of Nature.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Chris Veldman of ServiceMaster DSI, the largest ServiceMaster franchise in the United States and a customer of Signature Bank. In our business, we respond to disaster, and we never know when disaster will strike, whether it's flooding in Louisiana or a house fire in Chicago. Not all banks understand that need for flexibility, but Signature Bank does. That's why we consider them so much more than a bank. They have been our business partner since 2006, when their three co-founders, Mick, Kevin, and Brian, started the bank. Signature Bank is a key part of our growth strategy at ServiceMaster DSI.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, hey, just wanted to update you in case you missed it. If you paid for that Phil Mickelson, Tiger Woods snoozer of a match.
Yeah, did you watch the whole thing?
No, I didn't watch any of it. If you pay for it on a pay-per-view, which I know is how you like to pay for things.
Right, I pay-per-view.
Yeah,
Because I wanted my money back. The signal was scrambled, and then...
It was actually Bleacher Report put it up for a while because people who paid for it had a difficult time accessing it. You didn't miss anything. And so now AT&T's offering a refund.
How much money am I going to get back? $20?
What you paid,
What do you pay? Oh, a full refund. Nice.
So you
and
want
Phil
to get that
Mickelson
refund.
won. What was it? $9 million?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and then they had the money in a glass box, so you could.
The only thing worse than that actual match.
What?
Was the trash talking beforehand.
Oh, yeah.
Where they tried to come across as Mayweather and McGregor, but they sounded more like Randolph and Mortimer Duke.
They're friends. I mean.
And talking about their side bets and their trash talking. It was, and I didn't watch it, but what I understand from people who did, the most interesting thing about the fact that both Tiger and Phil were mic'd up and their caddies were mic'd up was not any of the verbal jousting on the course or the strategy they discussed with caddies. It was Phil's huffing and puffing trying to scale the inclines at Shadow Creek. I'm not kidding. That's what people were talking about.
He couldn't breathe. He had a hard time. That money, though, could have been put to good use, the $9 million. What we're asking for is a one-time donation of $80 for our annual campaign. We're teaming up with Food for the Poor. $80 will provide food for a year and water for life for one child or adult in Haiti. To make a one-time contribution, call 844-862-HOPE. That's 844-862-HOPE. And again, our goal this year is to feed 3,000 children to provide food for a year and water for life children in Haiti. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
How politics junks science at 7:07.
But first, let's go straight into the newsroom. A busy day, a lot of school closings. It's just a mess out there because of the snow. With the latest information, here is Mike Scott.
The winter storm brings out about 300 IDOT crews and 200 crews in the city of Chicago. George Papadopoulos ordered to report to prison today. I'll tell you where. Trial in the Laquan McDonald cover-up case is set to begin tomorrow. CPD is looking for a missing teenage boy. We'll give you a description. Coyotes acquire Nick Schmaltz from the Blackhawks. And the Spurs limp into Chicago to face the shorthanded Bulls. Blizzard conditions for at least the next hour. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
We will close the border permanently if need be. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Trump tweeted that the morning after the U.S. temporarily shut down the port of entry near San Diego. When hundreds of migrants from that caravan camped out in Tijuana made a rush to the U.S.
Things got violent. Things really took a turn for the worse. In fact, a lot of these migrants were throwing rocks at border agents. We know some of those agents, in fact, got hit by those rocks. Those agents then had to use pepper ball guns, also tear gas, just to really calm the crowd down.
Eric Richards with Fox 5 TV. Mexican officials arrested 39, threatening to deport them. The president wrote Mexico should send all those migrants back, claiming many of them are stone-cold criminals. There's a new Russia-Ukraine conflict today at sea. Fox's Simon Owen monitoring live from London.
Dave, Ukraine's president demanding Russia immediately release a group of sailors after the Russian Coast Guard opened fire on 3 Ukrainian Navy ships before seizing those vessels and their crews. It happened in waters near Crimea, the region of Ukraine annexed by Russia 4 years ago. Ukraine says its ships had done nothing wrong. Russia says they were lacking permissions. The Russian government is also accusing Ukraine of planning the incident with the United States to provoke conflict with Russia. Dave.
Simon, they're getting more snow in Chicago, which is why more than 500 flights are canceled to and from there today. Another 100 flights grounded elsewhere. Many more were canceled yesterday, like this woman's trip out of St. Louis.
Thought we could get out. And so waking up at 9 o'clock and seeing your flight was already canceled, that was a little bit confusing for us.
Have you bought anything online yet today? Well, retailers hope you shop at home or even at work, offering deals and in many cases free shipping on what could be a record-breaking Cyber Monday. Americans expected to spend nearly $8 billion. This is Fox News.
"29 degrees, heavy snow, blizzard-like conditions still in spots, although we're seeing a reduction in wind and a reduction in snow at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. But the heavy snowfall and blizzard warnings that were in effect overnight into this morning has left behind as much as 11.5 inches of snow in McHenry County. Heavy, wet snow is falling across northwest Indiana, where 3 to 6 inches of snow will accumulate. Chicago Department of Aviation says the average departure delay is at about 79 minutes. And as you just heard from Fox, from FlightAware, over 450 flights headed to or from the Chicago airports have been canceled or delayed. Schools are closed as well. Everything from Providence Catholic High School in New Lenox to Proviso East High School in Maywood, Proviso West in Hillside, Proviso Math and Science in Forest Park. Robert Morris University is not scheduling AM classes at any of its affiliates, including Schaumburg, Aurora, Waukegan, and the city of Chicago. Romeoville High School closed today. Just a number of schools, hundreds of them, closed around the area. For official news, please go to your district's website to make sure that you get the latest up-to-date information on school closings and delays. In other news we're following this morning, the 6-year-old case of a suburban Chicago man accused of trying to detonate what he thought was a bomb may be nearing resolution. Chicago federal judge will hear arguments today in a defense motion to let 25-year-old Adel Daoud enter an Alford plea in which he does not admit guilt but concedes evidence will lead to his conviction. The trial of 3 current and former Chicago police officers accused of a cover-up in the deadly police shooting of Laquan McDonald is set to begin tomorrow. Blackhawks have traded Nick Schmaltz to the Coyotes for a pair of players. Spurs and Bulls set to tangle tonight. Fighting Illini extend the contract of head football coach Lovie Smith for 2 years. The news service of Napa. Whether you get snow, sleet, rain, or any kind of winter weather, it can be dangerous. Napa has everything you need to drive safely. Batteries, wiper blades, antifreeze, and more. Quality parts, helpful people. That is Napa know-how. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
One thing became painfully apparent this past election cycle. There are forces out there trying to destroy the America we know. And guess what? Those forces are still there. The election didn't change that. All this election did was restart the clock. In 2 years, we'll have to stand up and do it all again. Are we going to let the forces of darkness take back this country? Or are we going to stand up and fight for what's right? Stick with this station to get your marching orders. AM 560, The Answer.
It's the holiday sales event at Ford. It's a big deal, and we're busy making preparations to get you the best deals of the year. Because unlike Santa's presents, ours don't just magically appear. At Ford, ours are built in real factories, where pickup trucks come with best-in-class towing and payload, where SUVs are built with available features like terrain management and driver assist technologies, and where every bolt, stitch, and line of code is tested and tested again. But you don't have to write Santa a letter to get these presents. Naughty or nice, just come see your Ford dealer during our holiday sales event for our best offers of the year. Ford, built for the holidays. Built Ford proud.
Best-in-class towing and payload when properly configured. Classes light-duty pickups under 8,500 pounds GVWR based on Ford segmentation.
If you maintain an industrial plant, you know your dust collection systems are a vital part of the operation of your plant. Without them, things can get dusty quick. And when your dust collection system malfunctions, the downtime can cost your plant money. Time to call the professionals at Vans Industrial for help.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, owner of Vans Industrial. At Vans, we work with many different types and sizes of dust collectors, from 1,000 CFM to 100,000 CFM. If your system needs housing repair, tube sheet, pulse valves, ductwork, or collection hoods, give us a call. Schedule an inspection today to keep things running smoothly and avoid costly downtime. And when you're ready for a new dust collector, we can design your system from the collection hoods to the stack for plants of all size applications.
Vans uses only the best and safest union-trained mechanics, insured at the highest level, to perform the job right. Call 833-VANS-IND. That's 833-VANS-IND. Or on the web at vansindustrial.com.
Your Burlington store is packed with everything to get your home holiday ready at up to 65% off other retailers' prices every day. Throws, pillows, candles, serving platters, holiday decor. Deck your halls for less at Burlington. Style for everyone.
7:07. Let's get an update on the roads now in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. In for Jim, here's Alverde.
On the northbound Tri-State at Half Day Road, an accident still blocking the 2 right lanes. And on the westbound Adams, east of Arlington Heights Road, an accident has the right lane blocked. On the inbound Edens at Dempster, there's a car in the ditch. It's on the ramp from westbound Dempster to the inbound Edens. 34 into Montrose from Lake Cook, back out a 33-minute ride. Kennedy inbound is 38 to downtown and 35 back out to O'Hare. We've got a car in the ditch on the westbound O'Hare extension at Manheim. Then the Eisenhower inbound, 53 to the Circle, 48 back out to 390. Stevenson in, 55 to Lakeshore Drive, 48 out to 355. That's traffic. I'm Al Verdi from the Balance of Nature Traffic Center on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, here's our meteorologist, Jillian Ford.
A little snow early this morning. Storm total snowfall 6 to 10 inches with a high today of 31. Becoming breezy and colder tonight with a low of 14. Mostly sunny and very cold tomorrow with a high of 24. I'm Jillian Ford on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 28 degrees at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Alpha Wealth Group, bringing the trilogy of estate, tax, and investment planning together. Visit alphawealthgroup.com for a free report.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. How politics pollutes science and leads to terrible policy decisions. I've got all kinds of junk science here. You want to spin the wheel? I got here. Let me give you your choices.
Yeah.
All right. I got the wildfires in California.
They're contained, by the way, right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, just in case anybody cared about the campfire. It's 100% contained. All right, go on. Wildfires.
I got the National Climate Assessment that was issued last week.
Mm-hmm.
I got Sterigenics in Willowbrook. I got the story of the fuel of the future, palm oil.
Oh, palm oil.
And what's actually happened.
Not just for your bellies,
and
for pregnancies.
I've even got a little male female sports story. That's science too. You know, the physical differences between men and women.
Oh, are you going to say that they've got one more muscle than women do?
No, I'm not going to say that. Biology is going to say that. Did you see this story?
No.
The
who was it for CBS News?
a
long time. Remember what was he got fired for it? He made a comment about African American athletes compared to white athletes.
Jimmy the Greek.
Jimmy the Greek. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the
yes, what's
gold medal winning USA soccer team, women's soccer team.
Yeah.
Right? Didn't they win the gold?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They won.
They were beaten by a team of 15-year-old boys from Dallas. Lost 5-2 to under 15 academy in Dallas. They went on to beat the Russians, though, after that exhibition match, the Russian women.
Yeah.
4-0 victors against the Russians, but they lost to 15-year-old boys.
Doesn't surprise me.
No, I know. But
15-year-old boys are fast.
It will surprise a lot of people who think women and men are the same, or all the Title IX stuff and all the Annika Sorenstam can play on the PGA Tour and Billie Jean King can beat Bobby Riggs. Really. And, women can play football. But I'm a proponent now. I'm a proponent of gender is completely based on selection. It's completely subjective. And if you want to identify as a woman for the purposes of participating in track and field events, bicycle races, soccer, anything else, then please go ahead, because you'll just eliminate actual women from participating in sports.
It's a scary. People need to be aware of what's going on. This is not fair to our gender, and I'm just waiting for the day for a guy to show up to play for one of the girls' teams and how I'm going to have to handle that. But there's girls' teams for a reason, and there's boys' teams for a reason.
15-year-old boys beat the USA women's
5-2
national team.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's the same thing. The WNBA doesn't. No WNBA team would beat a high school team of. Would be like a high.
Simeon. They wouldn't.
Yeah,
beat
pick Simeon. Pick
Amundsen. They wouldn't be able to beat
Amundsen.
them. Well, no,
but
they would not be able to beat them. They wouldn't.
Probably not.
Those layups in the paint. Wow, that's sexy.
Well, it's just. It's just
because they don't dunk. Men dunk.
So that's just biology, which is a branch of science. In case some of your friends on the left hadn't heard.
Okay.
How about because everything that is science, it is to be taken as gospel, handed down from on high. Well, what if the science doesn't follow the scientific method? How about we follow the scientific method to explain the science and the junk science?
Want to move on to wildfires? Or what do you want to?
Sure, we can.
Okay.
Richard Epstein, writing in Hoover Institution's Defining Ideas Journal. We've talked about this before, as we've talked about the wildfires in California over the last couple of weeks, but just this note, in California, much of the land is owned by state and federal government. President Trump tweeted about this, land management by state government. You could add the federal government in, and how it's been led by politics and not led by policy science. Epstein writing, the lands have proved far more vulnerable to forest fires than properties owned by private groups. Private lands are managed with the goals of conservation and production. The management of public lands has been buffeted by legislative schemes driven by strong ideological commitments. Republican Congressman Tom McClintock noted that his air inspections revealed a distressing pattern. The privately managed forests are green, healthy, and thriving. The neglected federal forests are densely overcrowded and often scarred by fire because we can't even salvage the fire-killed timber while it still has value. Oh. And, of course, others have opined on this, too, in terms of land management, not doing controlled burns to manage the forested areas either, because that doesn't comport with leftist environmental dogma. After 45 years of experience with the environmental laws, McClintock goes on, I think we're entitled to ask, how is the forest environment doing? All around us, the answer is damning. These laws have not only failed to improve our forest environment, they are literally killing our forests. It's very easy to visually identify the property lines between well-managed private forests and the neglected federal lands. I've seen it myself on aerial inspections, writes Congressman McClintock. That's last year. And now these wildfires.
What about Sterigenics?
Sterigenics!
In Willowbrook. I'm familiar with that story, but I think people, I don't know if they glossed their eyes over on this one, but it's...
Not in Willowbrook, they didn't.
No, they did not. If you lived in Willowbrook, you're very well aware of this story.
Well, the story, and also, this was a political story.
Yep.
This was something Sean Casten seized on to attack Roscom, and Fatboy Spalding seized on to attack Rauner, and of course Rauner, rather than getting the facts, just caved. This story from the Tribune at the beginning of October. Trump and Rauner administrations knew about Sterigenics cancer risks months before telling people.
Trump?
Telling public.
President involved?
Because it's the EPA.
Oh.
In About Face, Bruce Rauner calls for Sterigenics shutdown after weeks of downplaying cancer risks. These Tribune stories. I wonder if the Tribune will give the same airplay to the truth.
What is the truth? These are all fake cancer reports, or what was
the
this?
EPA incorrectly reported that Sterigenics was emitting unsafe levels of ethylene oxide, falsely claiming it could cause cancer. An EPA news release issued late Wednesday, Thanksgiving Eve, described an issue, quote unquote, with the way it measured the chemical ethylene oxide, which is used to sterilize plastic medical equipment. And that's what Sterigenics does.
Okay.
In the controversial reading that it announced back in August that the media, Chicago media, took as gospel because it's EPA and it's science, and so it's not to be questioned. No need to show your work. And they ran with it and created hysteria in Willowbrook because, of course, of the heightened risk of cancer from what Sterigenics was doing. You've got the state that's moving toward... filing and the county, DuPage County, filing a lawsuit against Sterigenics based on junk science. The EPA release. U.S. EPA recently discovered an issue with the way ethylene oxide has been measured. As a result of the issue, monitors may have reported higher ambient levels of ethylene oxide than actually exist.
Oh, my God. That's so fraudulent.
The discovery means that the results of Willowbrook air quality monitoring conducted prior to October 2018 may have shown higher concentrations of ethylene oxide than were actually in the air. So Sean Casten and Spalding demagoguing this issue. They didn't look at the underlying evidence any more than the other side did to defend themselves because, of course, they were trying to prosecute this case against Republicans, and the Tribune was happy to go along and aid their campaigns, wasn't it? Yeah. Sean Casten calls out Roscom for continued attack on environment at expense of public health. was a August 28th Sean Casten release in which Casten suggested Roscom took money for Sterigenics to cover up its alleged unlawful activities.
And all those people in Willowbrook, I mean, you saw them on the news. They wanted to sell their house. They were wondering why little Jimmy wasn't feeling well. And that was all fake report.
Yeah, you want to walk that back in?
How can you walk that back in?
Yeah.
People feel like their property values have already sunk.
How about walking it back in terms of the reporting you did on behalf of candidates that were spewing a baseless science? Did you ever question it, or do you start from the premise of accepting whatever comes from the EPA, just like you accept whatever comes from this national climate assessment that came out last week, despite the fact we know previously NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, has cooked the numbers. We know that predictions from scientists and scientific agencies as to climate have consistently been wrong.
Mm-hmm. Well, they did say one part that piqued my interest was, Chicago could have heat waves. We could have more 100-degree plus days here in Chicago than they have in Phoenix, Arizona. Who has ever been to Arizona is buying that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's President Obama saying you're going to be President Obama, you're going to be driving South Beach, and there's going to be
water and fish in the streets.
Yeah,
in Miami.
Yeah, you're going to
the sea level is going to rise.
You're going to see sailfish right outside South Beach eateries.
Sea level's high right now, but it could drop back down. They're saying we're already 2 degrees warmer than we were 100 years ago.
How did Al Gore's predictions turn out? Global warming went to climate change. The numbers didn't hit the models, so they just changed the numbers, the actual numbers, not the models. It's a fraud. Scientific method. How about just saying from now on, if I'm going to report a story, and this is why we resisted talking about the Sterigenics story, because I didn't know, and I wanted to wait.
Did any of your publications do the story?
We just did the story about Sterigenics being essentially exonerated by the EPA. And so the question is, how about applying the scientific method to those you're interviewing from government agencies? Or do we just accept some government-sanctioned or university-sanctioned scientist? And that's gospel, not to be challenged. This is the point of peer review, isn't it? And this is how, and the fact that you take all of this at face value because it's a scientist, it's an academic, it's a government agency. That's how you get the Sokol affair and Sokol squared with these journals of deep thought falling prey to scammers to expose just how unserious they are.
Well, I mean,
how little peer review there is, just how much of a lack of intellectual curiosity exists within the academic community and within the scientific community as an extension, and certainly within the press corps.
And poor Willowbrook. I mean, they're going to be labeled now as Cancer Town. Wow. And the property values, again, are going to be going down because of that.
Tom in Deer Park.
Yeah, Dad, I just love what you do and what you're saying. And in talking about Sean Casten and the academia and then the local media, including the Tribune, that just buy onto this leftist stuff and say it's science, it makes me want to ask you what you think about now how they want the CDC to investigate gun safety.
Public health,
and
right.
Everything you just said about these other agencies, and it proves false, but it's already been built into the narrative, and there's another example of that.
Thanks for the call, Tom.
Here. Somebody texted in, should the U.S. EPA apologize?
They should do more than that. They should have their sovereign immunity pierced, and they should have to pay damages to Sterigenics. They should be held accountable. Oh, by the way, how about this? New York Times reporting, no less. Healthy skepticism. Completely lacking when the left is talking because they're talking to the left. And then they dupe the public. And to some extent, that's our fault, as Andrew Clavin says. We've got to build our own infrastructure, more of our outlets. This story about palm oil.
Yeah, what is this palm oil thing?
Palm oil was going to save the planet.
Oh, it is?
Environmental laws in the mid-2000s used vegetable oil as fuels to reduce carbon dioxide and reduce quote-unquote global warming. But the laws, including those advanced by Republicans like George W. Bush, switchgrass, vegetable oil, were based on an incomplete accounting of the true environmental costs, reports the New York Times. So what happened in places like Borneo? The tropical rainforests of Indonesia have large amount of carbon trapped within their trees and soil. Slashing and burning the existing forest to make way for oil palm cultivation had a perverse effect. It released more carbon, a lot more carbon. NASA researchers now say the accelerated destruction of Borneo's forest contributed to the largest single-year global increase in carbon emissions in 2 millenniums. An explosion that transformed Indonesia into the world's 4th largest source of such emissions. Instead of creating a clever technocratic fix to reduce America's carbon footprint, lawmakers had lit the fuse on a powerful carbon bomb that produced more carbon than the entire continent of Europe. I mean, it's not funny, but it should be cautionary. I mean, on gender, on fuels, on climate change, on EPA testing, on land management. It's all political. Chip in St. Charles.
Yeah, Dan, I'd like to bring up the wildfires in California, seeing as you're talking about land management. We've got a government in California that would rather cater to illegal immigrants, invaders coming into our country than they would to take care of the land that they have there. You know, almost 100 people burned to death in California, and I don't believe it's not the biggest story in the country right now. You know, what happened in California is the Jerry Brown's Katrina, and because they have a press that will just sit back and do nothing, these people burn to death and nobody cares about it. I find it to be nuts.
Thanks, Chip. Yeah. It's worse than not reporting on it or not holding Jerry Brown and the environmentalists to account. It's doubling down. They're saying it was these wildfires were caused, or certainly the extent of the damage exacerbated by the lack of more environmental regulation. It's not strict enough. That's what they're saying. They're saying
it's... blame climate change, too, on...
Yes, they're saying it's conservatives and quote-unquote climate change deniers that are responsible, not Jerry Brown and those actually in charge.
Death toll is 85, by the way, and 249 people are still missing.
Ralph and Rantoul.
Yeah, good morning. I'm wondering about the soccer team that you dug up there. Were the 15-year-old boys, were they dressed as Andy Kaufman playing as Elvis Presley?
Yeah, that's a good question. Thanks for the call, Ralph.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Jack Tabota at Tabota & Associates calls this mailbox money. It's the monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. Jack and his team want to help remove stress from your retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Tabota & Associates at 630-883-4453 for a complimentary retirement analysis with strategies that could help your nest egg provide you monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call right now, 630-883-4453 and schedule a visit. You, your retirement, Tabota & Associates, 630-883-4453. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I have more energy. I can get up and get going. I can do things I couldn't do. I can walk in the store instead of jazzy. I can clean. I can do things I haven't done for 8 years since I had the failure and had been on dialysis. It's helped me to walk It's helped me to do heavy laundry, to clean my house, to feel like I'm not dying all the time. It just gives me it's helped so that I'm not depressed and sad and worried all the time. And mainly it has given like a new boost in life. I really believe in it. I love it.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
'Tis the season for giving. Today is Cyber Monday. Tomorrow is Tuesday. And what is Tuesday? Giving Tuesday.
Hashtag.
Yeah, that's a hashtag. But we want you to know that we have partnered up with Food for the Poor again for our annual Christmas campaign. We're trying to raise 3,000 or enough food and water for life for 3,000 children in Haiti. And if you own a business or make the marketing decisions for your company, we have that business benefactor program. What it is you make a $2,500 tax-deductible donation. The money goes to Food for the Poor. And as a way of saying thank you, we give you 40 60-second commercials that run prime time, Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m., right here on AM 560, The Answer. It is the best deal in Chicagoland radio. $2,500, 40 60-second commercials, and you're doing something to help those less fortunate. To become a business benefactor, call our sales manager, Ann Jeanette Nitkowski. Call her directly at 847-472-8951 and ask for the Business Benefactor Program. Again, 847-472-8951 or visit 560theanswer.com. Search for the keyword food. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We're going to talk the gun confiscation efforts of the left now that they're ascendant, particularly in the House, with John Lott Jr. at 7:37.
And did he know an NBA star ousted by a transgender male lover? But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Light snow, still blizzard-like conditions with winds out of the north at 20 to 25 miles an hour, 28 degrees at 7:31, and that blizzard warning remains in effect all the way from northeast Missouri into southeast Wisconsin and now into northwest Indiana as snow begins to fall there, 3 to 6 inches. That snow has pretty much ended to our west. DeKalb, Rockford, points south to Peoria. The snow is beginning to wrap up in its wake, but 9 inches in Boone, 11.5 inches of snow in McHenry County. Firefighters have fully contained the Camp Fire in Northern California. CAL FIRE reporting the blaze in Butte County burned through more than 153,000 acres. The U.S. will close its primary southern border permanently if necessary. According to President Trump, who sent in a tweet this morning, Mexico should send the migrants at the southern border back to their countries, and that many are criminals. Many travelers are going to have a difficult time reaching their destinations today because of the major weather event, snarling air travel and wreaking havoc on the roads. NBC's Matt Bradley happens to be at O'Hare this morning.
In just the past 24 hours, there's been 350 flight cancellations and almost 100 delays. And this being a major air hub for the region, that's going to have knock-on effects throughout the entire Midwest.
Which means that goes back to Kansas City, for instance, where the weather really hit hard over the weekend and 500 flights were delayed. Many of those flights headed for O'Hare. Cyber Monday, touted as the biggest online shopping day of the year.
My wife will definitely be doing a lot of shopping today.
We'll do a little bit online, but not too much. Just a few deals that I saw.
No, I did all mine already. I got better deals on Thursday, I think.
According to Adobe Digital Insights, online shoppers spent $6.6 billion last year. George Papadopoulos is ordered to report to a Wisconsin prison today. A federal judge yesterday rejecting the former Trump campaign advisor's bid to delay a 14-day sentence. Chicago man pleaded guilty last year to making a false statement to the FBI. Police are looking for a 15-year-old boy missing for more than 2 weeks from Chicago's northwest side. Demarion Mitchell was last seen November 7. Blackhawks trade Nick Schmaltz to Arizona for Dylan Strom and Brendan Perlini in a swap involving 3 former first-round draft picks. Spurs continue their 4-game road trip They move down from Milwaukee and visit the Bulls tonight. The news sponsored by Burlington. Make Burlington Store your coat headquarters and save on great looks for your family, like anoraks, puffers, systems jackets, plus sweaters, scarves, hats, gloves, and boots. Save up to 65% off other retailers' prices every day. Burlington, style for everyone. 7:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
If 2-3 weeks from now, we got 10, 11, 12,000 people pounding on our door at the southern border, damn straight we ought to have the military down there.
The Joe Walsh Show.
They all say the same thing. They're looking for a job. They're looking to improve their financial situation. They want a better life economically. Excuse me, that's not a reason to seek asylum.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right before Larry Elder at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
Looking to secure financing on a new home? Then you need to call Team Hochberg. Stephanie, account manager, contacted her credit union to get pre-qualified for a mortgage. Bad move. The credit union's alleged mortgage expert informed Stephanie she couldn't purchase a home without a cosigner. Wrong. Stephanie's grandfather would cosign, but she wanted to do it herself. After hearing hundreds of our ads, Stephanie called for a free consultation. An experienced Team Hochberg mortgage professional answered Stephanie's questions and helped her secure a mortgage without a cosigner. Let's review. The inexperienced mortgage professional at Stephanie's credit union stated she needed a cosigner to purchase a home, and Team Hochberg secured her a mortgage without a cosigner. When securing a mortgage, you could either get terrible advice at your credit union, or you could call Team Hochberg at 312-751-1333. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage and Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee 4358 and MLS 19186.
Want your homes furnished to stay safe and reliable? And want to prevent any potential problems before they happen? At your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we recommend an annual furnace inspection and tune-up. Right now, get a $79 furnace tune-up. Call 855-1-HOUR. Because not taking care of your furnace, that's just cold.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Pat Boone here again for Relief Factor, the company that's helping thousands of people, just like my wife Shirley and me, deal with all kinds of occasional aches and pains. For years, Shirley struggled with her neck, and her shoulder pain kept her from sleeping through the night. A lot of people, just like Shirley, struggle with aches and pains due to aging or exercise. Why don't you order the 3-week Quick Start? It's now only $19.95, and let's see if we can get you out of pain too. Go to ReliefFactor.com.
Check out Ground Game, the latest podcast from the Associated Press discussing the top political issues around the country. Available on Apple Podcasts.
7:36 and a check on those slippery roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. In for Jim, here's Alverde.
The inbound Edens, a 27-minute trip from Lake Hook into the Kennedy Junction, 34 on the outbound side. Kennedy inbound very heavy now, 51 O'Hare to downtown, and 36 back out to the airport. Eisenhower inbound, that's a 59-minute ride to the Circle, 58 out to 390. Stevenson an hour 10 into Lakeshore Drive, 49 back out to 355. Dan Ryan is 48 into downtown, especially jammed up between 51st and the Circle. Outbound only about an 18-minute trip. Bishop Ford inbound slows 159th to Sibley, again from 111th into the Ryan. That's traffic. I'm Al Verdi from the Balance of Nature Traffic Center on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. This morning, gusty winds, blizzard-like conditions. We've had a low of 28 and a high of 31 expected later today. They've updated the numbers. Our largest snowfall felt in the area, 13.1 inches in Bull Valley in McHenry County. Leads the starters at the gate this morning in terms of total amounts of snow, and a widely divergent pattern of snow. Some areas south of I-80 only received an inch and a half. It's 29 right now at O'Hare, 32 along the lakefront. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour radio show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer. Brought to you by Pearshell Financial Group.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We've got a lot of gun confiscation proposals circling the country, both at the federal level as well as the local level, in the wake of recent shootings here in Chicago. After that shooting that left 2 dead at Mercy Hospital, 3 dead, excuse me.
3 dead, yeah.
3 dead. The officer, the ER doctor, and the pharmacy student.
Yeah.
There was a call for. There was a call to check people's social or do extended interviews with family members.
Yeah, and high school counselors.
And high school counselors before somebody is allowed to own a weapon.
Yeah, because the gunman in that case had a bad past. Obviously, he had made threats with his weapon, slept with his gun underneath his bed, made threats to his wife, a neighbor, some realtor. But he was still able to get a FOID card and have a concealed carry permit.
Right, because he had no
criminal history. It was all in civil litigation during his divorce. And no charges were ever pressed against him.
And there's been proposals to, in California, go back and check 2 years of social media content. And then, of course, Eric Swalwell, a congressman from California and presidential aspirant for 2020, he wants to just do a forced buyback of certain guns, confiscation. And if you don't like it, he's willing to use nukes to take your guns away. So he said in his social media, hardy har har. For more on some of these proposals and the direction of the discussion, we're pleased to be joined by John Lott. He is the president of the Crime Prevention Research Center and the author of a number of books on the topic of guns, The War on Guns, as well as More Guns, Less Crime. John, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having me on. I'm glad you survived the snow.
Yes, barely. No thanks to Illinois Department of Transportation, with which you're familiar, John, as a former UFC guy. Here's the question about some of what's being talked about now, and talked about seriously. You know, the left is resuscitating the guns are a public health crisis, and so you have to treat a public health crisis holistically, and that includes not just looking at the individual, but looking at the individual's entire social circle. Again, going back to the suggestion to interview high school counselors and family members to determine whether or not somebody can purchase a gun.
Right. Well, over 60% of the mass public shooters in the last 2 decades were actually seeing mental health care experts prior to their attack. I mean, we're talking about, within like 6 months or so of their attack. And in not one single case did any of these mental health care professionals identify these individuals as a danger to themselves or a danger to other people. They have a professional responsibility. If they think that somebody is actually a danger to themselves or to somebody else, they're supposed to go and report the individual to the police. That's the standard across the entire country. And there's a whole academic literature on their inability to go and identify these individuals as a danger. Basically you're talking about generally people with mental health problems are significantly less violent on average than the general population. And they're also more likely to be victims of violent crime. And so there's real issues about just the mistakes involved in kind of just trying to take guns away from people that you might think possibly might be violent, that you're going to be wrong the vast majority of time when you try to do something like that. And, what seems to be missed out of this discussion is kind of what are the benefits from people having guns for protection. And the fact that if you err heavily on the side of just trying to be extra safe there, you're going to make it so that many individuals are not going to be able to defend themselves or their families.
Well, then what can we do? I mean, I just feel like there's so many mass shootings everywhere. No one's safe anywhere. A hospital, a school, a synagogue. It's just, what can we do, if anything?
Right. Well, sure. Well, I think there is something that can be done, but it's something, unfortunately, gun control advocates fight against, and that is trying to get rid of some of these gun-free zones, whether it be the Mercy Hospital attack that you just had, or the attack at the synagogue that you mentioned in Pittsburgh, or the one in California. All these had something in common, that where they were all so-called gun-free zones, places where general citizens were banned from having guns for protection. You're in a state like Pennsylvania. You're able to go and carry your permanent concealed handgun, 98% of the places that you can visit publicly. And yet, if these attacks were random, then 98% of the mass public shootings would be in places where people were allowed to have their guns. And yet, you find over and over again, these attacks occur in those tiny areas within the state where people aren't allowed to protect themselves. And if you go and you read the diaries or look at other statements that these killers have made, they may be crazy in some sense, but they're not stupid. They want to go to a place where people can't stop them. They know the longer it takes for somebody to arrive on the scene with the gun, the more people they're going to be able to go and kill. And that seems to be their goal time after time, to try to just create as much carnage or death as they possibly can. These individuals want to go and commit suicide, but they want to go and commit suicide in a way that people will know that they were here.
I wanted to get your take on some initiatives that are sort of au courant right now and generating support even from some Republicans and erstwhile Second Amendment defenders. Red flag laws, and here in Illinois, for example, we had a number of legislative Republicans vote for proposals last year to add a state and local licensure, a level of state licensure regulation to gun dealers, and so red flag laws and more at the local or state level in terms of licensing gun dealers.
Right. Well, I mean, red flag laws are that you can go without having to have a hearing before a judge to take away somebody's guns for some period of time. Already in all 50 states, before these red flag laws, you were able to go if you were a relative or somebody else and you believed that the individual was a danger, you were able to go to court and there would be a hearing, and you could take away somebody's guns. You could take them away for long periods of time. The issue here is whether or not, without the individual even being present, without having to have a hearing, you can go and take away a person's guns or not. That's the change. And in places like Washington State was the first state to have this type of law. Now you're moving to the situation where if somebody else in the household has a charge being brought against them, anybody else in the family will also have their gun taken away. So you have a case where a high school student, I guess a senior in high school in Washington State, had gotten into a fight at school, and the local prosecutor there is trying to use in King County is trying to use the red flag law to temporarily take away the guns from the father, who I guess has a concealed carry permit and has gotten threats because of his job in the past, because of the presence of the high school student that's there. So who knows how far they're going to try to stretch these types of things. But, if you believe, if the courts believe that somebody is actually a real threat to others, there's a process that's already been in place. And so the question is, do you add this additional step where you no longer require a hearing to take away somebody's guns.
Right, rather than what you're suggesting. Hey, if there's an adversarial process where you have the target afforded the opportunity to defend himself or herself, have legal representation in a hearing, and the court makes a determination, that's one thing. But when you're talking about this being one-sided and you hear just the person or the entity the complainant, the entity that wants to take away somebody's individual Second Amendment rights, that's a problem. That's unconstitutional, arguably.
Well, we'll see as it works its way up through the courts, what happens with that. I mean, I agree with you. It seems like when you take away somebody's ability to go and defend themselves, at least it seems fairly reasonable case to go and object without having an actual court hearing.
Is it your expectation that Democrats in the House will move on gun control, try and do at least something to signal to their base? Because, last time Pelosi was the speaker, they didn't want to resuscitate the assault weapon ban. They didn't want to touch guns. This time it seems like, fast forward a decade, that the party is in a different place, and so Pelosi may be forced to move on this issue.
Well, I mean, she's already said that they'll move. Other Democrats have already said, who will be in positions of authority in the new Congress, have already said that they're going to move on a number of bills very early in Congress. I think it's maybe one of the top 2 or 3 things on their agenda. So, exactly what the bills will be and how many they're going to have isn't exactly clear, but it's pretty clear that they're moving on. I mean, you just had Michael Bloomberg spend $110 million apparently just on trying to flip the House from Republican to Democratic control. And I mean, he spent huge amounts of money in some races. It was really extraordinary. I mean, like $5 million in one race that I know in Georgia, and millions of dollars in other races. And so, he would outspend just his contributions itself, would outspend the Republican candidates by, 2 to 1 or something,
Right, and he's going to want the payoff, which is gun control. Right. He is.
Well, and it's also the people he supported were strongly in favor of gun control too. So
right.
It just, and he apparently spent about an equal amount in state legislative races across the country, though he didn't have anywhere near the success. Normally in midterms elections, you have about 12. You have 12 state houses flipped. This time they had 6 flipped from Republicans to Democrats.
He is John Lott Jr., president of the Crime Prevention Research Center, author of a number of books, including The War on Guns and More Guns, Less Crime. John, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of Townstone Financial. Refinancing or purchasing a home does not need to be a daunting task. I guarantee you can have confidence when calling me at 312-896-2110 or going to townstone.com that our only interest is getting you the best refinancing and purchase deal available and to make sure your transaction closes on time and without headaches. If you're a first-time home buyer, you don't need a large down payment. We have a 1% down payment program and Townstone will hold your hand the entire way. If this is your second or third purchase or refinance, let Townstone compete for your business. We've been beating the big banks on interest rates and closing costs since 2002. So don't pay too much. Give me a call now at 312-896-2110. The call is free and so is my time. Lastly, have debt that you need to pay off? Let us help with a cash-out refinance. Remember, nobody beats Townstone. I guarantee it. And I own the company. So call us now at 312-896-2110. And don't forget to check out our weekly podcast at townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financial is licensed in Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida. NMLS 136639. www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org. Equal housing lender.
Oh, it's Cyber Monday, a great day to go to MyPillow.com and buy a MyPillow. Buy one, get one free deal still on. Or you can get that MyPillow mattress topper. It's wonderful. It's got a exclusive 3-layer design, a MyPillow foam for support, transitional foam to help relieve pressure points, and an ultra-soft patented temperature-regulating cover that, yes, you could put in the washer and dryer. 10-year warranty, 60-day money-back guarantee. And you will get the total body support you need and sleep better. Give the gift of sleep this holiday season. Right now, go to MyPillow.com, and when you check out, use the promo code AMY, A-M-Y, and voila, 30% off your entire order. There's pet beds that you'll love. There's sheets that are awesome, and pillowcases, yeah, they're dreamy. Go to MyPillow.com, Amy, and the promo code 30% off. Plus, when you buy that mattress topper, you will get 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free. MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I've been on the Balance of Nature for about a year. I feel great. I never get sick anymore. I used to get bronchitis and stuff. I feel like my skin is better. My face has no lines in it. For some reason, I mean, it's helping my appearance, too. Not like I'm a bad-looking guy. It's just that I'm a nice-looking guy. But the thing is, I could see the features in my face getting younger. It's an amazing thing.
I've got ankylosing spondylitis, which is a arthritic disease, calcification of the major joints in the spine, and I just don't have the pain that I used to have. It's really kind of amazing. It's really kind of cool.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. Arizona's Republican Governor Doug Ducey earned 44% of the Latino vote en route to his easy re-election. No hand recount for Governor-elect Ron DeSantis in Florida, who garnered 44% of the Latino vote and 14% of the black vote. The 400,000 Florida kids and 260,000 Arizona kids who benefit from school choice, the majority from minority families, are reshaping the GOP's electoral coalitions in those states. White guilt author Shelby Steele argues this occurrence is more than a powerful argument for school choice. It's a messaging imperative for conservatives. As Steele told me, black families have moved beyond the idealism of the civil rights era to search for pragmatic answers to economic concerns the welfare state not only failed to address, but worsened. By contrast, Champaign socialists in the leafy suburbs are in search of a moral calling. The Black Lives Matter yard sign in the lawn of your local Mayflower descendant should have been a tip-off. Bottom line, we've been making the wrong arguments to the wrong constituents. Fiscal conservatism has limited appeal to the vanguard class, as does pantomiming Al Sharpton with minority families. For the latter, it's money they lack. For the former, to borrow from James Earl Jones and Field of Dreams, it's money they have and peace they lack.
When it comes to your identity and the personal information on your devices, there's no soundtrack to let you know you're in danger. Today's digital world is so connected, it just takes one weak link for criminals to get in. Good thing new LifeLock now adds the power of Norton Security. LifeLock uses proprietary technology to detect threats like your personal info for sale on the dark web. And Norton Security helps protect up to 5 devices from ransomware and other online threats. Plus, if you have a problem, our agents will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or cybercrime or monitor all transactions at all businesses. But with LifeLock, we can help alert you to danger. Join now and get 10% off your first year plus a $25 Amazon gift card with annual enrollment. Just go to LifeLock.com and enter promo code SMART. Terms apply. New LifeLock with Norton. More detection, more protection.
Get ready to make Range Day more awesome. Here's the perfect gift for the gun owner on your list, or for yourself, a Hackett Equipment Range backpack. The Hackett Equipment Range backpack comes in 3 styles of covert quality range backpacks that hold 2 to 4 pistols and carry a lifetime warranty. There's also an attachable rifle bag, tactical shooting glasses, all at affordable prices. You can even join the Hackett Equipment Army with a Hackett Equipment Pocket Pistol t-shirt. Hackett Equipment is a Chicago-based company that shares your values, and they'd like to share a smoking hot discount just for AM 560 listeners. Get 20% off all Hackett Equipment online products for a limited time with promo code AM 560. Plus, all orders over $100 receive free shipping on top of your 20% discount. Make trips to the shooting range easier and more fun by taking everything you need for a day at the range, hands-free. Visit gunrangebags.com and see for yourself why Hackett Equipment bags have endless 5-star reviews. Have a blast at the shooting range and save 20% plus free shipping on orders over $100 with promo code AM560. Gunrangebags.com, promo code AM560.
AM 560, The Answer.
'Tis the season for giving, and once again, we have partnered up with Food for the Poor for our annual Christmas campaign. This year, our goal is to provide food for 1 year and water for life for 3,000 children in Haiti. And I know that there's poverty and hunger here in the U.S., but it's a different reality than in other countries. Because here, there's always a social safety net to care for hungry children and families. And we see our tax dollars serving that purpose all the time. But in a country like Haiti, for example, the government is so very corrupt and people are destitute and there's no safety net. And Food for the Poor is there, and they help thousands of people from dying of starvation because there simply isn't any other help. They have a huge facility in Port-au-Prince, and they help people on a daily basis.
Yeah, people don't die here from starvation. They do in Haiti. That's real. Our goal this holiday season, provide food for a year, water for life for 3,000 kids in Haiti. And the way you can help us do that, in particular, is through our business benefactor program. $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Food for the Poor. And in return for your generosity, we give you 40 60-second commercials that air Monday to Friday, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m., prime broadcasting hours, on this station. Call our sales manager, Ann Jeanette, at 847-472-8951. Again, Ann Jeanette, 847-472-8951 to enroll in the business benefactor program.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
My new vagina won't make me happy at 8:08.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
A winter storm brings out the cleanup crews. Hundreds of schools are closed across the area. WIND Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
They didn't get in. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, but hundreds of migrants tried, making a rush for the border, some throwing rocks. Border Patrol agents fired tear gas to fend them off near San Diego, and Mexican police arrested 39. But many other migrants in the caravan camped out in Tijuana say they are peaceful and just want jobs.
Well, I'm very stressed because the truth is, this situation is not pleasant, but I'm always in hope of having a positive response from the U.S. authorities.
President Trump tweeted they'll not be getting in. Fox's John Decker's live at the White House.
The president tweeting Mexico should move the flag-waving migrants, many of whom are stone-cold criminals, back to their countries. Do it by plane, do it by bus, do it any way you want, but they are not coming into the USA. He continued, we will close the border permanently if need be. Congress fund the wall. Meanwhile, Secretary of Homeland Security Kirstjen Nielsen in a statement vowing to prosecute to the fullest extent of the law anyone who destroys federal property, endangers our frontline operators, or violates our nation's sovereignty. Dave?
Well, John, this could be a record-breaking day online. Americans expected to spend nearly $8 billion this Cyber Monday as retailers offer deals and free shipping. But shipping's a problem right now at an Amazon fulfillment center in Illinois.
Blizzard overnight. Power out, 2 a.m. to this fulfillment center. As you can see, trucks are backed up now, trying to deliver inside, but they haven't got the workers and the power and the lights inside to do it.
That's Fox Business Network's Jeff Flock standing outside. More than 700 flights are canceled today, most of them to and from Chicago. More changes at GM. The automaker expected to announce today a broad restructuring. The AP reports GM will close a plant in Canada that makes several different vehicles. It would affect 2,500 jobs. Earlier this fall, GM offered buyouts to 18,000 white-collar workers to reduce staff. This is Fox News.
28 degrees, light snow, and still some blizzard-like conditions. The National Weather Service tells us the blizzard warning has expired. Northwest winds are beginning to slowly diminish as snow continues to fall across the area. Many travelers are going to have a difficult time reaching their destinations here in the Chicago area, just like yesterday and Saturday in Kansas City. Air travel is snarled at O'Hare.
In just the past 24 hours, there's been 350 flight cancellations and almost 100 delays. And this being a major air hub for the region, that's going to have knock-on effects throughout the entire Midwest.
More than 1,000 flights alone were canceled at Chicago's O'Hare and Midway airports. Crews clearing the streets are hitting the major arteries this morning, especially in the city of Chicago. More than 200 crews are out clearing the major arterials. Also in the suburbs where major arteries are being cleared, and IDOT has crews out in force. Hundreds of schools are closed around the area, including St. Joseph's High School in Westchester. Not closed, we understand now, but opening late at 9 a.m. But other schools are closed across the area, including St. Thomas More in Elgin, the Steeple Run Elementary in Naperville. Just to give you a snapshot, Sycamore High School and Middle School are closed. Other schools that are closed include Timothy Christian High School, Trinity Lutheran School, and the Universal Technical Institute, the large school in Lisle. Today, no AM classes and PM classes are on the schedule. In other news we're following this morning, a 6-year-old case of a suburban Chicago man accused of trying to detonate what he thought was a bomb in Chicago may be nearing a resolution. Chicago federal judge will hear arguments today in a defense motion to let 25-year-old Adel Daoud enter an Alford plea. The trial of 3 current and former Chicago police officers accused of covering up the deadly police shooting of Laquan McDonald is set to begin tomorrow. In the city of Chicago, looking for a 15-year-old boy who has been missing for more than 2 weeks from Chicago's northwest side. Demarion Mitchell was last seen November 7. The teen is known to frequent the area near the Avondale-Logandale Elementary School in Logan Square. Blackhawks make a trade overnight, sending Nick Schmaltz to the Coyotes for a pair of players. Spurs take on the Bulls later on tonight. 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. And from the Fox Business Network, here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, futures are pointing to a rally at the open on Wall Street after oil prices recovered overnight. Retailers are hoping to see another bump in online sales today, Cyber Monday. Adobe Analytics says online shopping on Thanksgiving Day was up 28% from last year. Cyber Monday sales are expected to be up nearly 18% from last year, which would make this the biggest online shopping day this year in the U.S. Campbell's Soup appears close to settling a dispute with a major investor, Daniel Lowe and his Third Point LLC. The proposal involves increasing the size of Campbell's board from 12 to 14 and including 2 members approved by Third Point. The fund could also be involved in helping to select Campbell's new chief executive. The Dow dropped 178 points on Friday. The Nasdaq lost 33, and the S&P was down 17. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Jenny Cosola.
It's 8:05 in Chicago. A check of the snowy roads, traffic, and weather coming up next on AM 560.
In the last 2 years, this president somehow managed to defeat the mainstream media and the forces of darkness on the left. He managed to get 2 strong judges in the Supreme Court. He turned around a bad economy and put millions back to work. He rebuilt the military, saved sick veterans. He beat back the Islamic terrorists known as ISIS. But these victories are hanging by a thread. Now the real fight begins to keep those gains and get more. It's not time to let up now. Find out what needs to be done. Stick with this station to know more. AM 560, The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Gina Labus, President and CEO of Mid-States Glass and Metal and a customer of Signature Bank since 2011. As we expanded our business into all aspects of the glass and metal industry, we needed a bank who could grow along with us. That's when we met Mick O'Rourke, co-founder of Signature Bank. Mick and his team took the time to understand the ebbs and flows of our business. They worked with us to find a solution that would support our growth. Mid-States Glass and Metal is proud to work with Signature Bank because they support Chicagoland women-owned businesses like mine.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
It's the holiday sales event at Ford. It's a big deal, and we're busy making preparations to get you the best deals of the year. Because unlike Santa's presents, ours don't just magically appear. At Ford, ours are built in real factories, where pickup trucks come with best-in-class towing and payload, where SUVs are built with available features like terrain management and driver assist technologies, and where every bolt, stitch, and line of code is tested and tested again. But you don't have to write Santa a letter to get these presents. Naughty or nice, just come see your Ford dealer during our holiday sales event for our best offers of the year. Ford, built for the holidays. Built Ford proud.
Best-in-class towing and payload when properly configured. Class is light-duty pickups under 8,500 pounds GVWR based on Ford segmentation.
It is 8:08. Let's get an update on the roads this morning as we check things in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. In for Jim, here's Al.
The northbound tri-state is jammed up between the Adams and Toohey, where an accident has the two right lanes blocked. And further north, it's heavy again from Deerfield to Half Day, where another accident has two right lanes blocked. Westbound Adams slows up between the tri-state and Manheim. An accident there has the left lane blocked. On the Edens inbound, we're looking at 27 minutes to Montrose, 33 back out to Lake Cook. The Kennedy Inn is 59, O'Hare to downtown, back out just 35 minutes. Eisenhower in 55 to the Circle, a full hour back out to 390. Stevenson an hour 10 into Lakeshore Drive and back out a 49-minute ride. That's traffic. I'm Al Verdi. From the Balance of Nature Traffic Center on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and our meteorologist, Jillian Ford.
Today, a little snow early this morning. Storm total snowfall 6 to 10 inches with a high of 31. Tonight, becoming clear, breezy, and colder with a low of 14. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and very cold. High tomorrow, 24. I'm Jillian Ford on AM 560, The Answer.
Still a bit of light snow, 27 at O'Hare, a wind chill of 13 above. Next news, 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. My new vagina won't make me happy. That is not a personal statement.
Is that what's on your Christmas card this year?
That is an op-ed in the New York Times by some dude who calls himself Andrea Long Chu.
Okay.
That's, all right, that's positively Dickensian. Okay.
Long Chu, one word, or long hyphen Chu?
Long space Chu.
Oh.
Next Thursday, I'm reading from this, by the way.
Oh,
I should say.
okay.
I don't want any confusion. I don't want Dwight Howard calling me at night.
Which we'll get to that in a little bit.
Next
I'm
Thursday.
Obsessed with that story.
Next Thursday, I will get a vagina.
Woohoo! Vajayjay! You get a vajayjay, and you get a vajayjay. You get a vajayjay.
VJ Day. Yeah, certainly. It's had a different connotation than World War II. The procedure will last around 6 hours and I will be in recovery for at least 3 months. Until the day I die, my body will regard the vagina as a wound. As a result, it will require regular painful attention to maintain. Gosh, I hope nobody's having oatmeal. This is what I want, but there is no guarantee it will make me happier. In fact, I don't expect it to. That shouldn't disqualify me from getting it.
I read the article, too. I saw the picture of this Andrea. Does look like a woman, I will tell you that, because there's a lot of transgenders that don't. She actually, she said she was born always wanting to be a girl and has suffered her whole life by not living that life.
What does a male with delicate features have to do with the discussion?
I'm just saying that I can understand that this person is suffering and will try anything to make herself feel better, even though she knows that getting that is not going to make her better. That is mutilation of your body. And that 3-month period that she's talking about could be, if you knew the details of what they have to go through, and I only know because I covered a transgender who had the operation. They're transsexual now. You go from transgender to transsexual, and it's barbaric, and it is painful, and they have to sit on a donut for a year. And then the gory details I'll spare you, but it's unbelievable what they do to their bodies to form something that's not natural to get that vajayjay.
And okay, and so
okay, I'm just saying I feel for this person. We should be praying for this person because this is, and shame on those doctors for doing the operation.
Well, Andrea says the surgery is not going to make him happier. In fact, he may drive him to suicide. But he doesn't care. He just wants what he wants. And we're supposed to indulge him. I mean, and in some locales, we're supposed to finance it. It's a right that the cost of which you can impose on others. You want to talk about junk science? We were talking about in the areas of energy and climate earlier in the show last hour. How about this junk science? How about this politicized science, which is to say not science? Something is politicized if there's no healthy skepticism and no interest in outcomes and no desire to see work product, then it's not science, it's just politics. And isn't that what we have here? And so you have stories of people who transitioned and then regretted it. There was an Atlantic cover story recently, Jesse Singal. Walt Heyer is another advocate who transitioned, regretted it, and now argues against these sorts of gender reassignment surgeries. And so are we supposed to just fold in? Because remember, this is not about, there's no such thing as tolerance anymore. The left treats tolerance and acceptance as synonyms. So do we have to accept this as just part of the landscape? Should we just accept this as part of the landscape? Turn our heads, ignore it, not a big deal, not my concern. People can do what they want to do. Who am I to judge? You know, all of the favorite bromides of the Cultural Surrender Caucus. Because here's where this goes, by the way, and these not just these individual outcomes. When this becomes a movement, across the pond in England, whistleblowing teacher claims that vulnerable autistic children are being persuaded that they're gender dysphoric. 17 pupils at a single British school are in the process of changing gender. Most of the youngsters undergoing the transformation are autistic, who said that vulnerable children with mental health problems are being tricked into believing they are the wrong sex, and were being prescribed puberty-blocking drugs. 150 autistic teenagers were given puberty-blocking drugs to stop the body from maturing.
That is completely being pushed on them.
Well, it's to be celebrated. This is cool.
That's criminal.
And so you just kind of turn a blind eye to that too. Where are the parents? Not my problem. Not a big deal. If the parents want to have their disabled child, to have a special needs child, to have a child, prepubescent child says, I want to be a girl, then we're going to go ahead with whatever little Johnny or Sally wants.
That's complete brainwashing.
Well, it's nihilism.
And the parents should not be going along with it at all. They should yank their kids from that school.
And the Hippocratic Oath, is that still applicable in the medical profession? Or is being party to these procedures and this advocacy in the case of the story in England, where a teacher acted as a whistleblower to bring this forward, is that consistent with the Hippocratic Oath? I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't know what people think. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636-DA, turnkey.pro text line. I'm just glad that Andrea Long-Chu wasn't at my Thanksgiving dinner table hearing about his new vagina coming Thursday. Megan on the south side.
Hi, good morning, guys. I'm just was thinking, you said this guy, thought maybe he would commit suicide after he got the operation, and I'm just thinking if this, if he just wants what he wants, if this is a group of people that want what they want, how do they behave in the other areas of their lives, day to day? It's just interesting.
Yeah, thanks for the comment. I mean, this, nihilism is all around you, and it takes many forms, not just gender reassignment or gender identity politics. Dane in DeKalb.
Good morning, Dan, Amy. Hey, Dan, you never mentioned specifically where she was having the vajayjay installed at.
I don't
think she
know exactly. I don't. She didn't.
She didn't mention.
He didn't mention that in the op-ed that he penned. Yes.
Yes, before. You're right.
Yeah.
Yep, he. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah. Thanks for the call.
Thank you.
The fact that he said he's still suicidal or could still commit suicide, I mean, that right there is a big red flag.
Well, it's also a way of saying, back to that discussion, it's a way of saying the outcomes don't matter. I want what I want regardless of outcome. And for a medical professional to participate in that, where the outcomes for your patients are supposed to be something that's interesting to you, sort of remarkable. Patrick in Schaumburg.
Good morning. I think one of the problems that a lot of transgenders have is that they live under the illusion that everyone else is happy. And I got news for them. We're not.
No, and they think that being a woman's going to be easier for
Thanks,
them.
Patrick.
Are you kidding me? If you're a man, if you transition to be a woman, you think your life's going to be better? You're going to have a whole new set of problems. And then they're pumping you with this estrogen, which all you do is you're going to cry in a few weeks once it sets in. You really want that racket? And then you're going to be comparing yourself to other women, and you're just not going to be able to compete with us. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But also too,
Don't tell Dwight Howard that though.
Well, real quick though, every transgender person that I met, they still like women, so they're transgender lesbians. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to transgender switch and then start dating men. They want to switch and still date women. Speaking of that, we have a little bit of a problem. You know who Dwight Howard is, right?
Yeah, Superman.
He's a center, 6'11" center for the Washington Wizards now. He's been on several teams. Well, he apparently has been targeted in a series of tweets written by Mason Elijah, who is a transgender man, claiming that he and Howard have been lovers for a long time. And Howard started seeing someone else, and things got really bad. This Mason then started recording phone conversations that they had, and Elijah refused to sign a NDA, non-disclosure agreement, from Howard's camp, including his pastor, to allegedly stop, just don't talk about this anymore.
Dwight Howard is lucky that Robin Ficker isn't still in the front row there at the Bullets/Wizards games, because I can only imagine what he'd come up with. Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah.
Will and Skokie are on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, guys. As a father of a transgender person, she was born a daughter. I don't know what, she wants to be a son. I've talked to her a lot about this. You have to remember that this thing, there's no science behind it. It's all about narrative. It's all about postmodern narrative. I will tell my story, you will tell your story, and if you don't accept my story as equally valid with yours, you're somehow wrong. There's no science behind this. It's all theory, and the theory is just a bunch of people who make up stuff because that's their narrative. And unfortunately, they can't understand it's a mental illness. They have to. If I sat there and said, gee, I'm a cupcake, I would be put away. But yet they can say, I'm a man if I'm a woman, or I'm a woman if I'm a man, and they get credence. And it's just very sad. We have to stand up to it and sit there and say to them, look, there's no validity behind this. You have no basis for this. There's no actual academic proof or empirical data. It's just made up stuff.
Thanks for the call, Will. And you get an e-show out of it, too. I mean, here's the thing about what Will's saying. It's celebrated. Again, it's tolerance. No. Acceptance, and you will celebrate it. And there's research out of Brown University that's been quashed, ridiculed, that suggests that there is a social component to the whole identifying as a different gender than you were born, because of the sort of social pressure / celebration of it. Makes somebody feel special, more attention. There is this sort of cliquish social element to what you're seeing happening on this issue, and so, but to suggest anything, to actually do scientific research and present it for peer review, won't even be peer reviewed, because I can't even. I'm just going to denounce it out of hand because it doesn't comport with the politics of the day in academia. And so, again, we have this as another example of anti-science, anti-intellectual, anti-reason, anti-logic, as Will said.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Lake County Right to Life is looking for like-minded people to help save lives, to support women, mothers and fathers, unborn babies, families, and the elderly. Can you help? Lake County Right to Life takes an active part in both the educational and lobbying aspects of the Right to Life movement. They recognize the need to become actively involved in electing pro-life, pro-family legislators, and formed the Lake County PAC to elect local Lake County candidates who support life-affirming legislation on your behalf. Legislation that saves thousands of lives and doesn't impose on you, the taxpayer, for the lesser good. There is light at the end of the tunnel, but it takes all of us working together to accomplish a society that celebrates life and protects our most vulnerable. For donations or information about educating the public concerning current life issues and legislations, go to the Lake County Right to Life website, lcrtl.org. That's lcrtl.org. You can also follow Lake County Right to Life on Facebook.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I thought I had a sinus headache for a few days, but I had a massive brain aneurysm, hemorrhage of the brain, and a stroke. And I was on my deathbed. I was on a respirator in a coma for 35 days. And 3 months later, I came home in a wheelchair. I had double vision. I had to learn to walk again, to speak again. 1 and 1 is 2, write the alphabet. You know, if I went out and did a little something, I'd come home, I'd be in bed. Now I'm up by like 5:30 in the morning, and I go to the gym. I do shopping. I cook. I have energy all day. I mean, I feel great. Overall, my whole outlook, just feeling, my mental aspect, everything is better.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Geico presents eyewitness interviews with inanimate objects.
This is Belinda Collins, live on the scene of a recent hailstorm. Here to describe the event, a football.
Bro, I was just hanging on the roof when this gnarly storm starts dropping baseball-sized hail. I mean, the shingles got beat up. A few windows looked broken. It was savage.
Did you do anything to help?
Nah, bro. I was in survival mode.
Your football can't help you in a hailstorm, but the Geico Insurance Agency can help you get covered for personal property damage. Call Geico to see how affordable homeowners insurance can be.
Every business has two major goals, right? Bigger profits and lower operating costs. Well, while ComEd might not be able to help you directly grow your profits, they can help you lower your operating costs with instant discounts on energy-efficient LEDs. You'll save money right now, and you'll save again later on your energy bills. For instant discounts and other lighting solutions from the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program, visit ComEd.com/lighting solutions. ComEd, powering lives.
AM 560, The Answer.
Here's another little scientific note. Do you see this story? New study coming out of the Rockefeller University and the University of Basel, Switzerland. All humans are descendants of the same man and woman who lived 100 to 200,000 years ago.
There's my cousin Mike.
Yeah.
You're my 15th cousin, once removed.
So this means that...
What does this mean,
This
Dad?
means the whole of human conflict, all of these millennia, is just a big fight over who mom and dad likes the best.
Oh, right.
It's just all inter-family squabbling, if you believe this, which I'm going to...
what are you going to do?
I'm going to
Respectfully
approach this study with the same healthy skepticism that I'm arguing you should approach all of this politicized science coming out of universities and government agencies.
This year, tomorrow, is Giving Tuesday, and why not give on Monday? We are beginning our 10th annual Christmas campaign this year, again, teaming up with Food for the Poor. They're one of the largest international relief and development organizations in the United States. They provide life-saving food, secure housing, clean water, health care, emergency relief to the poor, and give them a chance at a better future. We're focusing our needs in Haiti, where 1 in 4 children will die before the age of 5. It's a true fact. That country I visited 2 years ago is just, it's unbelievable, the level of poverty. It's pretty much undescribable, but they
they
need
still
our
haven't
help.
they still really haven't recovered from the 2010 earthquake.
They have not. There's buildings that are still, cracked and that are half crumbled, and they need to be raised. But we need to help these people, where our goal is to provide food for a year, water for life for 3,000 children in Haiti. To make a one-time donation of $80, that will provide food for a year and water for life. Just call this number, 844-862-4673. That's 844-862-HOPE. Or you can go to 560theanswer.com and search for the keyword food. Again, just $80 will help one child or adult for a year, and clean water for life. It's $80. Make a donation on behalf of your well-fed or well-cared-for child or grandchild, especially if you're looking for something to give them this holiday season. Give the gift of life to those in Haiti.
5-star rated Charity Navigator is Food for the Poor. 95 cents of every dollar donated gets to the intended recipients. And this is not just providing temporary food or water, food for a year, water for life, as we said, but it's building infrastructure. It's a self-sustaining model, what Food for the Poor does, and that's important to note. So help us hit our mark this year, just as you have in the past. And another way you can do that is through the Business Benefactor Program for our entrepreneurial set. $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Food for the Poor. And as a thank you from AM 560, you will get 40 60-second commercials that run primetime hours during our broadcast day, Monday to Friday, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. on these airwaves. To enroll in that program, call our sales manager, Ann Jeanette, 847-472-8951. Again, Ann Jeanette at 847-472-8951.
And again, we thank you in advance for your generosity. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
we'll talk Caravan at the Border with John Smirak from thestream.org at 8:38.
And later, another edition of Why Dan Proft is Single. What's for dinner? But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Light snow, blizzard-like conditions have exited the area. Northwest Indiana still getting a fistful of snow right now. 28 degrees officially at O'Hare at 8:30. That blizzard warning has expired. Most of the snow has stopped falling, and in its wake, here are some snowfall totals for you, as hundreds of schools are closed around the area, and you'll know why when you hear that Bull Valley had 13 inches of snow, Woodstock 11.5, Marengo 10.9, Elburn 9.2, DeKalb 9.1, Lindenhurst had 9 inches of snow, heavy and wet variety. Hundreds of snow crews are on the streets, over 250 in the city of Chicago, many hundreds more in the suburbs and on the toll roads. Travelers having a tough time getting to their destinations today, snarled because of that air travel delay. More than 900 flights alone at O'Hare, more in Kansas City and in Minneapolis-St. Paul this morning. It is a mess, air travel-wise, in the nation's midsection today. In other news we're following, as many as 500 migrants who stormed a U.S. border fence will be deported from Mexico. Mexican Interior Ministry saying the group was rounded up after trying to cross the border yesterday. However, Mexico is scrapping a migrant asylum deal with the U.S. Reports surfaced over the weekend that the Mexican Interior Ministry, which once had been on board, is not on board anymore to have migrants stay in Mexico while their asylum claims move through the U.S. courts.
This is a humongous burden for Mexico. If they're talking about housing and finding the resources for thousands of migrants, it would inevitably build up in a bottleneck on the U.S. border, because it can take 2 years in some cases to get through the asylum process.
An earlier report had said that the Trump administration had secured that deal with incoming Mexican President Andrés Manuel Obrador. President Trump is making 2 campaign appearances in Mississippi today, stumping for Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith in her runoff election against Democrat Mike Espy. Cyber Monday, touted as the biggest online shopping day of the year, research scientist Chet Wisniewski says you're not necessarily doing your shopping as safely as you should be.
Found that less than half of people have any kind of security or antivirus or fraud protection on their computer, and even fewer have any kind of protection on their mobile, and more of us are using our mobile to do that shopping.
E-retailers are estimated to rake in more than $7 billion in sales today. Chicago sports. Blackhawks trade Nick Schmaltz overnight to the Arizona Coyotes. Spurs take on the Bulls later on tonight, and the Fighting Illini extend the contract of football coach Lovie Smith for 2 years through 2023. The news is a service of Napa. Whether you get snow, sleet, or rain, winter weather can be dangerous, but Napa has everything you need to help you drive safely, like batteries, antifreeze, and more. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how. 8:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager says the angry mob has nothing to be angry about.
They won. The angry mob of the left won. So it's hard to have an angry mob anymore. The anger has dissipated somewhat. This is also something that will be interesting to witness.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
On AM 560, The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
One of the biggest fears for retirees and soon-to-be retirees, do I have enough? Do I have enough money to last for the rest of my life? I hear it every day when I meet with individuals, and it's for good reason. Check this statistic out. If you were born in 1800, you could expect to live until you were 39 years old. In 1900, 49. That number jumped to 68 in 1950, and today it's 79. How many people do you know that are in their 80s, in their 90s? Hi, this is Tom Fortino, host of the Alpha Wealth Hour, heard every Saturday at 9 a.m. here on AM 560. So how do you help ensure you never run out of money in retirement? The answers are in our special report, Maximizing Income in Retirement. In this powerful report, you'll discover successful tools and strategies on how to help turbocharge your income in retirement and how to position and protect your money regardless of what happens in the stock market. Call now to receive this report, Maximizing Income in Retirement, and will include 6 strategies to tax-free income. Call the Alpha Wealth Group, 630-519-4742 right now to receive your free report. That's 630-519-4742.
Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc. Check out Ground Game, the latest podcast from the Associated Press discussing the top political issues around the country. Available on Apple Podcasts.
8:36. Let's check our roads. And remember, residents of the city of Chicago, dibs is illegal, even though you might do it. In the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, in for Jim, here's Al.
Outbound Bishop Ford traffic jams up between Cottage Grove and the Stony Island feeder, where there is a car in the ditch. On the inbound Edens, in the meantime, just 25 from Lake Cook into the Kennedy Junction. Inbound at Old Orchard, though, watch out for an accident blocking the right lane back out to Lake Cook. That's a 26-minute trip. The inbound Kennedy, 54 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 25 back out to the airport. Then the Eisenhower on the inbound side, 56 to the Circle, an hour 2 back out to 390. Stevenson ends an hour 15 to Lakeshore Drive, 49 minutes back out to 355. Dan Ryan in heavy from Garfield to the Burns Circle. That's traffic. I'm Al Verdi from the Balance of Nature Traffic Center on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Blizzard warning is canceled. Mostly cloudy conditions settling across the area. Still a wind chill about 10 degrees below the air temp, which is now 27. Cloudy skies overnight until midnight, and then the clouds part. That will force our temperatures down around the 15-degree mark. And Tuesday, sunshine and clouds mixed with a high near 24. Currently 27. All clouds to the west, snow beginning to diminish. Your next news is at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
Listen to podcasts of Joe Walsh and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. They're not coming in. They are not coming in. That has been Trump's position from the beginning with respect to the caravan, and no pronouncement from the Ninth Circuit, no rebuke from Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts has changed the president's position.
And yesterday, 500 people stormed the border, tried to get in, and when they were in no man's land between Mexico and the U.S., we fired some tear gas on them. President Trump said, yes, we will use lethal force, and we'll shut down the entire U.S.-Mexico border if necessary.
We will close entry into the country for a period of time until we can get it under control.
To the entire border?
The whole border. I mean, the whole border.
And if you saw the video, it really was a stampede. I mean, you had the Mexican authorities trying to stop them. They had their riot gear out, their shields, and they were throwing projectiles. And the reason why we play that out because the left is saying it was a peaceful demonstration. They were just, having a nice march. But no, they weren't.
They
had bad intentions and were trying to sneak into the U.S.
Clearly throwing rocks and the like. So it was limited violence, but it was unruliness at minimum nonetheless. And you've heard the president's response. You understand his position. Former ICE acting director Tom Homan was on Fox News Sunday over the weekend talking about this and, who bears responsibility for this confrontation with the caravan at the border.
The reason there's a caravan on the border, the reason the borders, the numbers are high right now is because Congress has failed to act. They failed to build a wall. They have failed to close the loopholes that are causing these caravans. They have failed to raise a bar for asylum. They have failed to give ICE enough beds so they don't have to catch and release. They have failed to change the Florida settlement agreement that we can actually hold families long enough to see a judge. These loopholes, I was up on Hill numerous times myself meeting with Congress about closing these loopholes. And I've said many times before, if anybody wants to put a blame on what's going on the border, it's Congress. They need to look in the mirror. They have failed the American people.
And they're scheduled to continue failing the American people for the next 2 years. So President Trump is going to have to probably work around the Hill. And doing so is important because Holman adds, the precedent you set will be impactful.
If we don't have a hard response and protect the sovereignty of this country right now, there's going to be more caravans. This is just the beginning. So we got to act decisively. We got the right president to do that. He's taken a hard line on this. He threw the gauntlet down. I praise him for that. And we all hands on deck. And the game's on, and everybody's watching. Our response is very important to what's going to happen in the future.
For more on this, we're pleased to be joined by John Smirak, writer and editor for thestream.org, the author of the book, The Politically Incorrect Guide to Immigration. John, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Good to be on.
So has President Trump struck the right note and taken the right action thus far with respect to the caravan and border security, in your estimation?
Yes, I think that it is absolutely essential. And I'm glad to hear that he's willing to use proportionate force to the force that is used against us. It needs to be clear that this well-organized caravan that's funded by leftist foundations, probably we're going to find out by George Soros, is not going to be able to storm across our border. And if they just keep escalating, they won't get to a point where, if they're throwing, Molotov cocktails, our soldiers don't want to shoot at them, so we'll just open the gates and give in. That's what there's a playbook of terrorist escalation, and you see it in the West Bank. And what they do is they try to use enough force that you either have to shoot rubber bullets or something, or real bullets to defend yourself, but then you look like you're picking on harmless civilians. All they were doing was throwing Molotov cocktails, or in order to avoid that, you cave in and they win. And the same playbook is used by Palestinian terrorists in Gaza and now they're using it on our border, and we cannot cave into it.
I mean, the picture that Reuters is using, there's two girls, there's a canister of tear gas and two girls in diapers with their mom. You look like they're running for their lives. Where if, you know, in the background of the picture, there's barbed wire fence. Where are they going to get through anyway?
Well, here's something we should consider doing. If anybody who brought their children and dragged them through the desert, if they do get into the U.S., we should take away custody of their children for child abuse. Try doing that as an American. Try marching your children across the state of Utah with no stroller, no provision for safety. You will lose custody of your kids. So if you want to come to America, guess what? We enforce child neglect and child abuse laws. So your kid's going in the system, you'll never see him again. If word of that got to Central America, I have a feeling that would have a strong deterrent effect.
What do you think about Trump's war of words with John Roberts and pronouncements against the Ninth Circuit with respect to some of their holdings on important immigration policies?
I hope he is preparing, if necessary, to defy the courts. This is clearly the president's prerogative, and if the Ninth Circus wants to just politicize their own judiciary, he needs to defy them. The U.S. if a circuit court orders him to open the border and part the Red Sea, open our troops, and let the whole of Central America march in, I certainly hope he wouldn't be such a slave that to let the judiciary unconstitutionally override his executive presidential authority to defend the country. Abraham Lincoln did not let the Supreme Court tell him how to run the Civil War. And I just certainly don't think President Trump should let even the Supreme Court override his plain constitutional authority. Let there be a battle. I mean, if the court orders him to endanger national security, he should defy them, and there is a resolution for that. It's called Congress. Congress can impeach and remove him if he has overblown his authority. Politically, that's the constitutional answer. The political answer is let the Democrats impeach Donald Trump for keeping an army of migrants from storming into our border. I want the politics of that. Let's have that play out. You'll see a landslide in 2 years. We'll take the House back, and he'll be reelected with like 48 states.
Well, now the mayor of Tijuana has declared a humanitarian crisis. He's asking the UN for help. How do you think the Mexican government is helping us or hurting us? Do you think they're doing a good job?
Well, they should have enforced their own border. I think they thought they could just pass these people along. They thought Trump would cave, especially given the congressional elections. And when they saw that he was not going to cave, all of a sudden they developed a desire for cooperation. And the new government there, even though it's a leftist government, seems to want not to have to handle the politics of all these people milling around Mexico. So I think if Trump holds firm, which might entail defying court orders, you're going to see Mexico actually enforce its own southern border and put a stop to this madness. This does no good for anyone. It's not helping the countries they're leaving behind. And these people are coming. There are not jobs for them. We have plenty of unemployed blue-collar workers in America, teenagers who can't find jobs, people who get out of prison, returning veterans, people who want blue-collar jobs. We do not have tons of high-paying blue-collar jobs for these people to take. We don't need high school dropouts who can lift things and crack things and schlep things. We have plenty of people here who could use that work.
Is Trump missing?
This is just not helping anyone.
Is Trump missing an opportunity on the other end? And I'm talking about the case of Asia Bibi, the Pakistani woman who was cleared of blasphemy, but still under threat of death in Pakistan with the extremists that are preeminent there. Two politicians who spoke out on her behalf have been assassinated. Why is the U.S. silent? Shouldn't Trump say this is what our asylum laws are for, to bring people persecuted for their religious and political beliefs? So I'm signaling to the Pakistani government that we will take Asia Bibi and her family.
Absolutely, and I think he should do that. I've got a piece at stream.org about that. please check it out. I think he should welcome her on the tarmac, have her at the White House, and then do a speech before both houses of Congress, with her present, explaining this is what asylum looks like. When mobs of tens of thousands of people are hunting you through the streets, demanding you be hanged for your religion, that is asylum. A bunch of people marching through another safe country saying they want to get on Medicaid, that they want free schooling for their kids. That is not asylum.
John Smerak, writer and editor for thestream.org, author of the book, The Politically Incorrect Guide to Immigration. John, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey guys, Ken here from the hit podcast Today's Growth. We all know increasing revenue's tough, but did you know that 100% of main sources of income fail? The odds are 100% that your current main source of income will someday no longer exist. 439 of 1955's original Fortune 500 are no longer around, yet their industries and even their product lines still thrive. What happened to these companies? Simple. They didn't believe that 100% of main sources of income fail. They never added a second revenue model. For years, my friends at Income Store have helped both households and businesses build second, third, and even fourth revenue streams. When it comes to helping people create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Did you know that studies have shown that we need over 10 servings of fruits and veggies every single day? If you're like me, it's hard to find the time and money to prepare and eat all of those fruits and vegetables. Who can do that? Yet we know that proper nutrition can prevent health problems, give us energy, and help us heal faster. Balance of Nature has spent over 20 years researching and delivering solutions to this problem. We can ensure that you consume over 30 different fruits and veggies every single day. Our capsules are filled with 100% real whole foods. There isn't a single thing added to Balance of Nature products. They're pure. We spent an incredible amount of time on the quality of our products. We do this for you. We do it for our own families. Give yourself a break and give your body what it needs. For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
All right, if your roof's needy, you can
call Crumweedy.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. If your roof is leaky, if the shingles are curling, or if your roof isn't right after storms, then you need to call Crumweedy with roofing companies, and the difference is, of course, installation. Now, Crumweedy, they know that, and that's why they follow the manufacturer's specifications, so your warranty is totally intact, and many companies don't do that, and that could void your warranty. If you hate high-pressure sales tactics, not from Crumweedy. They give you good, better, best options. You make the choice, no pressure. Crumweedy is a roof that lasts at a fair price. Now, Mark Olson and Greg Olson of Crumweedy, they lead this third-generation family business that's been doing Chicagoland roofs since 1953. Now, they fix roof problems, so if your roof is needy,
call Crumweedy.
That's 630-595-8020. That's 630-595-8020. They're online, of course, at myroofisneedy.com.
This is Michael Medved. I'm here with Mike Stahl from Health Markets, helping folks find the right Medicare coverage. The news reports say that the rates might be going down.
The government projects the cost of Medicare plans will decrease this year. So you have to ask yourself, are you getting the best rate? Health Markets offers a free service with access to thousands of Medicare plans nationwide to help folks maximize their benefits and save money.
What is it people need to keep in mind?
Enrollment in the right plan is not automatic. With so many Medicare options, it can be confusing. My advice, don't go it alone. Get unbiased help to find a plan that may cost less and cover more with lower co-payments, more choices like dental and vision, and the freedom to choose your doctor. doctors. With the enrollment deadline only weeks away, it's important to act now. Our Health Markets Medicare assistance is free.
Thanks, Mike. This is Michael Medved for Health Markets.
For your free Medicare assistance, call 800-741-5592. That's 800-741-5592. 800-741-5592.
Action Sertoma needs your help. Action Sertoma is a local service organization that helps developmentally disabled individuals and needs people and organizations to volunteer your time or assist with fundraising efforts. Action Sertoma is a not-for-profit club formed in 1967 to raise funds in support of the less fortunate in our community and to provide opportunities that empower individuals with disabilities to achieve personal success. Most of the money that's raised goes directly to the 2 Sertoma centers in Alsip, Illinois, and serves over 1,500 individuals every day. Action Sertoma also supports the Sertoma Speech and Hearing Center and other worthy organizations. Consider helping Action Sertoma by supporting their events and volunteering. You'll be making a positive difference in the lives of others that need assistance and have the satisfaction of giving back and providing those with disabilities a better life. Visit Action Sertoma online at actionsertoma.org and visit their Facebook page. That's actionsertoma.org, providing service to mankind for over 50 years.
AM 560, The Answer.
On another edition of Why Dan Proft is Single, there was a not-so-friendly Thanksgiving story that took place over the weekend. A woman was arrested for allegedly killing, dismembering, and then cooking her boyfriend and serving him for dinner for the whole family.
In what form?
Well, authorities say the woman killed her man after he told her he was planning to marry another woman. So she then cooked him up.
No, you're not.
You're not. Not my watch. She then dismembered him, kept the skin on, and breaded him, and served him in a traditional rice dish called makbous. Have you ever heard of makbous?
No, I haven't.
Had makbous? Because I'm never having it again.
I prefer without the skin, though.
The crime was found out after the man's brother went looking for him and found a human tooth inside the woman's blender. It is just another reason why Dan Proft is single.
Time now for another reason why Dan Proft is single.
I think that theme song's supposed to be played before you tell the story. I mean, I hate to
ruin my segment.
Yeah, I sort of got it ass backward, but that's okay. Maybe with some fava beans and a nice Chianti. Right?
Do you have a lover's revenge story, Dan? Hopefully it doesn't involve any cooking. But
the revenge I've gotten on ex-girlfriends is dating them. So, I can't do better than that.
Your idea of foreplay is a sonnet, right?
Sure, yes. It's mostly self-indulgence on my part, yeah. If you watch Frasier,
yeah,
I'm very much like, well,
what?
I don't know, some combination of the two, except more athletic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't go to Harvard.
No, but you went to Northwestern. And congratulations to your Wildcats.
Yeah.
You're going to be competing for the Big Ten championship. Well, I think this weekend, right, against Ohio State?
Yeah, they earn the right to get blown up by 40 by Ohio State, so that's going to be fun to watch.
Is that what the spread is? Or we don't know.
No, it's not the spread. I'm telling you what's going to happen.
Oh, okay, because you are a predictor of all things athletic.
Did I not get the exact score of how much the Allman Brothers would lose to St. Francis? Did I not get that exact score right?
40-96, and it was 40-96.
Thank you very much.
And it was going to be a blowout until the last one. You know, there was a minute and 21 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Interception by Amundsen.
49-6 is a blowout.
Well, but no, it wasn't a complete shutout.
Shutout, yes.
Yeah, so then he
yeah.
scored a 72-yard interception.
He scored.
He intercepted the ball, ran for 72 yards, and scored a touchdown. So it was
Okay.
49-6, just like you predicted. So the score for this weekend?
Ohio State Northwestern.
I'm going to write this down.
Oh,
Would you want to get back to me tomorrow? What do you want?
56-21.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go. Book it.
All right,
So that's
I wrote it down.
That's an Ohio State cover for those of you who like to partake in games of chance. With,
Boom goes the dynamite.
There it is. Just like that guy.
This year, we have partnered with Food for the Poor once again for our Christmas campaign Our goal is to provide food for a year, water for life for 3,000 children in Haiti. We're asking for a one-time donation of $80, and that will provide food for a year and water for life for a child or an adult in Haiti. To do that, please call 844-862-HOPE. That's 844-862-4673.
And we're also featuring our Business Benefactor program as part of this drive this holiday season. Again, that's a $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Food for the Poor. And in return from us here at AM 560, you get 40 60-second commercials for your business that air Monday to Friday, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m., so our prime broadcasting hours daily. To enroll in this program, help us reach our mark of 3,000 children, provided food for a year, water for life, call our sales manager, Ann Jeanette. 847-472-8951 is her number. Again, it's Ann Jeanette at 847-472-8951. You can also go to 560theanswer.com, search the keyword food, and get signed up that way.
And this really is the best advertising deal in all of Chicagoland. $2,500. It's tax deductible, and then we'll give you 40 60-second commercials. It's really the best way to take your business to the next level. If you've ever thought about advertising here on AM 560, now is your chance to jump in. Again, call Aunt Jeanette right now. She is waiting for your phone call, 847-472-8951. You can ask her any questions. She'll answer them. Pleasant lady. I love Aunt Jeanette. Call her and become a business benefactor today. Thanks so much for making us part of your morning. I'm sure it was we know it was a snowy commute, and hopefully you arrived at your destination safely. Thanks to Justin Kosick, our technical producer, Quinn McCarthy, and Keith Conrad, our executive producers. We'll be back here bright and early tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Now with the latest on the snow totals and everything else, here is the one and only Mike Scott.
Well, the blizzard warning has